It's a Monday night for baseball. Miller Park, the scene. It's the Astros and Brewers as the Brewers move back to National League play. They've been playing very well here at Miller Park. Thanks in part to this guy, Ricky Weeks, showing practice makes perfect. Hitting off the tee. Corey Hart been swinging maybe the hottest bat in all of the National League. I know Lance Berkman and the Astros are coming to town. They're struggling of late, but they still have some big-time superstars swinging a heavy bat. So look out. It's the Astros and the Brewers here on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Hi, everybody. Alongside Jerry Augustine, I'm Craig Kashan as we continue our coverage of Game 1. And, Jerry, the Brewers have been hot. Obviously, overall winning 6 of their last 7 games. They've gotten the home portion straightened out a bit. But look at the last 7 games. Everything number-wise seems to be going right for this team.
Well, they've been swinging the bat very well, getting the runs, manufacture runs when they have to. But it's this pitching staff. Pitching very well, getting quality starts. And when they go deeper in the game, in comes the bullpen, and they've been fantastic.
So the Brewers with that 6-1 record, starting pitching has been a key. And now they'll turn it over to another lefty. Yep, another lefty named Manny Parra. And we'll see if Manny's on Parra, if you will, to get another victory. It would be his 2nd straight if he can pull it off against the Astros. For more in the starting pitching, and to make that first pitch and get the game going, we'll turn it over to Brian and Bill when we come back.
Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. By AT&T, find out what's possible with the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, rethink possible. And by the new Miller Lite Vortex bottle. Taste greatness. Inside Miller Park on a Monday night, and we are set for baseball tonight. It's the Brewers and the Astros, division rivals. Manny Parra coming off a win, his first win as a starter this year, his 2nd win of the season. He beat the Minnesota Twins, and Manny is back on the mound, and he'll match up with 25-year-old power right-hander Bud Norris. Norris is returning from the disabled list. He made 3 rehab starts in AAA, and he is back on a big league mound here tonight at Miller Park. And hi, everybody. Brian Anderson along with Bill Schroeder. Great to have you with us tonight. The Brewers and the Astros, and Rock Milwaukee trying to keep this thing going a little bit. You know, it wasn't too long ago the Brewers are wondering who they might trade. Now they're thinking about who they might acquire. The pitching has been the story for sure.
That's what it all is about. I mean, when you win, you get good pitching and good defense. The Brewers, all of a sudden right now, when you look at it, they're third in the National League in strikeouts. I mean, these pitchers have been outstanding. Walks are down, strikeouts are up. They're really pounding the strike zone with a fastball early in the count, able to pitch deep into games and allowing that bullpen to really get some rest. And those guys have been effective as well. Matty Parr right on line with the rest of these guys. His last 4 starts have been very good. Unfortunately for Matty, with an ERA just a little over 3.5, he's only got a 1-2 record this month. He's only given up 9 runs in 23 innings. You can see the run support really hasn't been there for Matty Parra.
Well, the Brew Crew, they have won 6 of their last 7. They are 5-1 on the homestand. They're playing some great baseball right now. Can they keep it up? The Astros are in town. It's the first of 3. The lineup to the first pitch coming up next. Plenty of high-five opportunities so far on this homestand. The Brewers are going along well right now, and they hope to keep it going against the Houston Astros as we are set for Game 1 of this 3-game series. It will conclude the homestand, a 9-game homestand in all. Astros come to town after a long night in Arlington last night as they lost to the Texas Rangers, and Brad Mills has seen his club drop 7 of their last 10. The Astros have lost 11 of their last 15 games and come into play today 29 and 47. Astros batting order brought to you by Subway. It's Michael Bourne, Jeff Keppinger, and Hunter Pence in the leadoff spot. And then it's Carlos Lee, Chris Johnson, Pedro Feliz in the middle, Jason Castro, Osvaldo Navarro, and Bud Norris rounded out. They have 3 rookies in their starting lineup, Brock, and that lineup will face Matty Parra.
Yep, our Mercedes-Benz look at Manny Parra here tonight, making his 7th start, 24th appearance overall, coming off one of his better pitching performances of the year, win against the Minnesota Twins right here at Miller Park. 5 2/3, gave up 7 hits, only 2 runs, and was able to keep the ball in the ballpark. Manny hadn't given up a home run in 2 starts.
Well, a couple of changes defensively for Milwaukee tonight. A couple of veterans in the starting lineup. Jim Edmonds gets the call in center field with Braun and Hart on each side of him. And then Counsell gets the call at shortstop for Alcides Escobar. And it's the rookie Jonathan Lucroy back in there behind the plate catching Manny Parra. Defense brought to you by Blaine's. And there is the 40-year-old Jim Edmonds. Celebrated a birthday yesterday. And the 39-year-old Craig Counsell. So we are ready to go here. Michael Bourne leads off. And Parra's first pitch is in there. Strike 1, and away we go. Michael Bourne at .257 for the year with 14 runs batted in. He leads the National League in steals with 22, so it's imperative to keep him off the base paths. Milwaukee coming off a win last night, or yesterday afternoon, I should say, 3-0. Chris Narveson went 8 shutout innings against the Mariners. Back up the middle, a base hit, and Bourne is aboard in this first inning.
Well, Michael Bourne, you know he's not going to be on first base very long. He loves to run. He gets a good jump. He can run. He's got 22 stolen bases. That leads the National League. And with Jeff Keppinger up behind him in the lineup, he takes a lot of pitches. Good opportunity for him to run. 22 out of 28. Very good percentage from Michael Bourne.
Well, the Astros dropping the final 2 games against the Rangers, their in-state rivals, as interleague play concluded, and rocked the Houston Astros just 3 wins in interleague play this year, 3-12. But how about their interleague schedule? The Rays, the Yankees, the Rangers twice, and the Royals. That's as tough as a run as you'll find in interleague baseball.
Yeah, and you know, the Central Division wasn't even supposed to be playing any teams from the East. You know, the regional rival for the Houston Astros, the Texas Rangers. They have a home and home, and you get the Kansas City Royals, an American League Central Division team. So that interleague schedule for the Astros didn't make much sense.
This is the second meeting here at Miller Park between these 2 clubs. The Brewers took 2 out of 3 from the Astros in late May. Houston has been here twice. The Brewers have not been to Minute Maid Park yet. Keppinger, a tough man to strike out. Parra has him down, no balls and 2 strikes. And he strikes him out. So one of the hardest to fan in all of baseball is down on strikes as Manny Parra picks up number 1.
Man, that's been the key to his success. Get ahead with the fastball, then go with the split finger, and Keppinger right over the top. That's a nice pitch.
A lot of movement to the bottom of the strike zone for Parra. Now Hunter Pence will hit 3rd today for Houston. Noticeably absent from the Astros lineup is Lance Berkman as he gets a day off. Pretty good weapon on that bench, but I'm sure the Brewers would rather have Berkman coming off the bench for maybe 1 at-bat as opposed to possibly 4 in the starting lineup.
Yeah, especially Manny Parra. Berkman, a .357 career hitter against Manny Parra. Good to have him on the bench today.
Pence a big cut and a miss. And a good fastball early for Parra, 94 miles per hour.
As a matter of fact, 3 guys on the bench for the Astros have done pretty good against Manny. Lance Berkman, Jason Michaels, and Jeff Blum, a combined 10 for 22, sitting this one out.
Brad Mills with 3 rookies in his starting lineup, including his catcher, Jason Castro. Oh, they got Bourne picked off. And now Fielder gets it to Counsell. Bourne can stay in a rundown all day. Manny's got to hurry, can't find the ball. And Bourne ends up at second base. Boy, the Brewers let an out get away.
Yeah, problem you have there, you got Manny Parra involved in a rundown. You've got to get Bourne out before the pitcher handles that baseball. Yeah, too many throws. Prince Fielder didn't run him hard enough to second base, got rid of it too quickly, and then Craig Counsell forced to have to use Manny Parra in the rundown. You got to get him on one throw. Once that pitcher's involved, you have a chance of getting out of it. And that's what happened right there. Manny Parra not able to grab it and couldn't find the handle once it was on the ground.
So Bourne ends up at second base for Pence. 0-1 the count. There he goes to third, and Pence swings and skies one to left. Braun is back at the track. Here's Edmonds coming over, and he's got it for the out. I'm not sure Braun saw that baseball. He quickly looked to Jim Edmonds, who covered a ton of ground to make that catch in left center field.
Yeah, that ball a mile in the air, and Edmonds certainly had time to get back there. That ball, it looked like to me it was going to drift out of the ballpark. Off the bat, it would look like a routine fly ball, but Pence gave it a pretty good ride. Ball carrying here pretty well tonight. And Edmonds right in front of the wall hauls it in. Michael Bourne, who was running on the pitch, able to get back to second base.
Well, a lot of baseball showing, but Edmonds secures it with his bare hand. 2 outs in the inning, and that one skips by Lucroy. Now, the wild pitch story has been there for Manny Parra. That's not necessarily a good thing. Parra, in his last start against the Twins, uncorked 4 wild pitches.
That's 10 on the year. 10 wild pitches for Manny Parra, but that's not unusual for a guy that relies on a split-fingered fastball.
Tied a franchise record with the 4 wild pitches his last time out. And in that game against Minnesota, there were 5 wild pitches total, also tying a franchise record. So 2 gone with a runner at third base. And Parra being very careful to Carlos Lee. He's starting to come on as of late. His last 30 games, .296 average. And he takes 4 pitches out of the strike zone. So first and third for Parra here in the first.
Yeah, they finally made a scoring decision on that rundown with Michael Bourne. They gave Manny Parra an error. That's not going to be a stolen base. I was wondering how they were going to score that. I wasn't sure they were going to give him a stolen base. They shouldn't, because a good throw, they get him. Manny Parra dropped the baseball. He gets the error.
Inning could be over. Instead, Parra is still at work here in the first with runners at the corners. And here's a rookie third baseman, Chris Johnson. Not a big book on this guy. Johnson playing in just his 13th major league game. Has swung the bat well. As a matter of fact, this is his second tour in the big leagues this year in his rookie season, and since his second recall, 5 games into it, he has 8 hits.
Well, they start him with back-to-back changeups. I mean, if you don't have a book on somebody, the first thing you do, particularly with men on base, see if you can hit a breaking ball or an off-speed pitch. Back-to-back changeups to Johnson.
Astros very high on this young player, and the fact that he's hitting 5th in this batting order would indicate that. A little bit late on the fastball. It's 1-2. Chris Johnson coming off a career high 4 hits and 3 RBIs on Friday night against the Texas Rangers. Was hitting .329 down in AAA this year. The 1-2 pitch down in the dirt. Good block by Lucroy. Rocky figure Lucroy is going to be a busy man tonight behind the plate as long as Parra's on the mound.
Yeah, well, it shouldn't surprise when the ball's in the dirt. When you call that split-fingered fastball, you have to assume it's going to be down there. That's where you want it. You want it to bounce.
Crowd trying to help him out. Here's the 2-2. Oh, in and out of the glove of Lucroy. Just got a piece, did Johnson.
Yeah, the last thing you want is your pitcher to feel as though he can't throw that split-fingered fastball down in the zone with a man at third base. You hang those pitches, they go a long way. Fastball right on the outside corner. Good pitch by Manny. But Johnson got a piece of it.
Parra in a little bit of trouble early here. Runners at first and third, but he can get out of it. The 2-2 on the ground to short. Here's Counsell. And the side retired. So the Astros get a hit and a walk, but Parra puts up a 0. Still filing into Miller Park. Here's how the Brewers will line them up today, courtesy of Ken Maka. It's brought to you by Subway. Weeks, Hart, and Fielder at the top. Braun, McGee, and Edmonds in the middle. Braun's feasted on the Astros throughout his career. And then you've got Lucroy, Counsell, and Manny Parra rounding it out.
Now Bud Norris making his first start since coming off the disabled list. Bicep tendonitis. Made 3 rehab starts down in the minor leagues. He was down in Round Rock in AAA. And you see his numbers this year. Got rocked around toward the end of his starts before going on the disabled list.
Well, this Astros ball club has a Round Rock kind of feel to it at this point of the season. Norris's battery mate, Jason Castro, is a guy who knows him well and was behind the plate for 2 of his 3 rehab starts down in Round Rock. So Ricky Weeks leads off. Yesterday, Weeks started it with a bang against the Seattle Mariners. Home run number 13 on the Powerball leaderboard, and it was the 4th leadoff home run of the season for Ricky Weeks. Number 17 of his career. Always nice to have that power threat at the top of the batting order, and there has not been a leadoff hitter in baseball that has been more productive than Ricky Weeks at this point.
And he has been red hot. I can't remember a home run that has left the ballpark any quicker than the one that he hit yesterday. Wow.
13 home runs, 44 runs batted in for Weeks. He's down in the count, a ball and 2 strikes as Norris misses down and away. 2-2 the count.
And the important stat for Ricky Weeks: runs scored, he's got 50. And on base percentage at .370, so he's right where he should be in those 2 categories.
The 2-2, and Weeks takes one down and out again. 3-2 the count. Ricky's been getting on a ton lately. His season on base percentage is now at .370. A called strike 3 on the outside corner. Well, as you can see, Bud Norris with a big fastball, and for our Mercedes scouting report, we check in with Dale Swain.
Bud's got a good arm. He's anywhere from 92 to 96 miles an hour. He's got some run on his fastball and moves it in and out both sides of the plate. He's got a really hard slider. He throws a slider anywhere from 87 to 90 miles an hour. It's kind of a cutter type, not a lot of depth on it, but You just got to get strikes. I mean, he's apt to make a lot of mistakes too with that velocity and that slider. So it's just like, you know, what we try to do as an offense, try to get people on and hit home run when people are on base.
Try to avoid that slider if you can, because it's a good one. He's had some success against Milwaukee in 2 starts, a 1-0 record, and a 245 earned run average. Those are good numbers.
Yeah, 2 starts last year for Bud Norris, and in those 2 starts he struck out 15 in 11 combined innings. So the strikeout was a big part of his game against Milwaukee a season ago. And when Dale Swaim talks about it, it lacks a little depth, that slider.
Doesn't go down much. Kind of goes across like a cut fastball would. A true cutter.
And he throws it hard like he does everything else. On the corner, a strike. 3-1 to Corey Hart. What a season he continues to have. Hart with 58 runs batted in. He is second in the league. David Wright of the Mets has 61 ribbies to start play today. And Hart bangs one into left center field. A base hit. He keeps getting his hits. Hart is aboard for Prince Fielder. And speaking of guys who are starting to find the home run stroke, Prince Fielder has done that. He has hit 8 home runs in the month of June. 15 home runs for the season. Rock, that opens the day 9th in the National League, believe it or not.
Yep, he's up there in walks. He's up there in on-base percentage. And all of a sudden now he's starting to find that long ball stroke. And most of his recent home runs have come to the opposite field. So he's staying on the ball pretty well.
That is a good sign of things to come. Because quite frankly, the Brewers have been on this winning run here lately, having won 6 of their last 7 and doing it in large part without Fielder and Ryan Braun, at least at the first half of this successful run.
Well, it's good to see that the Brewer offense has been solid up and down. You can't rely on 2 guys all season long. I think that was the problem the Brewers had last year. It was Ryan Braun and Prince Fielder. That was just about it for the most part. But you know, Casey McGee as well. But it's been up and down that batting order. It's been somebody different just about every day.
0-2 the count on Fielder, and a check on Hart. You know, talking to Dale Swaim about Prince Fielder, Prince is one of these players who, as a coach, you almost have to back down a little bit. When Prince is not going well at the plate, he wants to grind it out. He wants a lot of time in the cage as he swings and misses, cuts right through it, and it's out number 2. So, by the way, tonight is the debut of the AirTran Airways Flyaway during Brewers baseball. Keep watching for the 3 key words, which will be revealed at different times during tonight's game. Once we've revealed all 3 keywords, log on to foxsportswisconsin.com, click on the AirTran Airways link, and enter the 3 words in the order they were revealed. You got all that? You do that on the online form provided. The first 2 correct entries will win. Then stick around for the postgame show, and we'll announce the winners. Brewers Live postgame tonight, sponsored by Lincoln Mercury.
I got it.
So we had a running contest going.
Say the secret word and win $100.
That's right. Gracie.
Groucho Marx show.
Here's Braun now with Hart at first. Now we're hoping you'll get a chance to join us on the road. The Brewers and that AirTran Airways promotion, sending their lucky fans on the road. You got to get your tally board ready over there, Rock.
Yeah. I mean, do we know where they're going? Just a general road trip?
To be determined.
To be determined. Okay.
It's probably been determined, but you and I are on a need-to-know basis.
Yeah, we'll give it away probably, right? You really can't lose no matter where you go.
Might as well give it a shot. And that one is thrown away. Corey Hart on his way to second, thinking about third, and he'll wisely hold up. So Hart advances to second base, and both pitchers have now committed an error in this game.
Trying to keep Corey Hart close to first base, a little spin move, and Corey lucky he didn't get one in the melon right there. That wasn't even close. Pedro Feliz not able to get a glove on it. And Corey moves into scoring position.
We'll see if Braun can pick him up. Parra was able to strand 2 runners after his error in that first inning. And a scoreless first. Now Braun up there with 2 outs and a 1-1 count. A hot one back up the middle. A base hit. Hard around third. He will score. And Ryan Braun puts the Crew on the board. An RBI single with 2 outs for Ryan Braun, and it's 1-0 Milwaukee.
The error hurts Bud Norris. It did not hurt Manny Parra. That was a hanging slider from Norris. That one didn't do anything. It just stayed right in the middle of the plate, and Ryan Braun able to center on it and bang it into center field. They had him shaded in the hole over there. Ryan hit it well, and the error comes around to score.
Well, you'd love to see those 2-out RBI hits. Brewers had a couple of them yesterday. Hart and Fielder in that 2-run 5th. Part of that 3-0 win for the Crew. As Casey McGee takes strike 1. McGee comes in batting .268. Has 12 home runs, 50 driven in. Did some damage against the Astros first time through. Had 5 hits in that 3-game series. Now we'll see if Braun is on the move here with McGee at the plate. Ryan leads the club with 11 stolen bases. He's been caught just once. And it's 0-2 on McGee.
This wouldn't be a bad opportunity to run right here. No 2 count. Then you figure maybe Norris wants to waste one. Maybe a slider off the plate. It's a tough pitch to throw on.
Oh, 2 with 2 outs. Braun stays put. McGee fouls one away. Well, Casey's still among league leaders in RBIs. He's tied for 9th right now with 50 runs batted in. Well, all across the National League stat board offensively, you'll find a number of Brewers, mostly Braun and McGee and Hart. Fielders up there and on base percentage.
And the Brewers 3rd in on base percentage, 2nd in slugging percentage. They lead the league in home runs, 2nd in hits, 2nd in runs. So yeah, I think a lot of the offensive players are going to be on those leaderboards.
A run is in here in the first. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Casey McGee. There goes Braun, and McGee strikes out. So the inning is over. A costly error by Bud Norris leads to a run, and it's 1-0. team tonight. Brand new to Fox Sports Wisconsin. You know him, you love him, Mark Concannon. Great to have you with us.
Brian, it's great to be here. When I started as a sportscaster in 1987, one of the first Brewer interviews I did was with a strapping young catcher by the name of Bill Schroeder. Greg Brock told me, you got to talk to this guy. This is the best interview in the club. He was, and even at that point, B.A., I know that Bill was destined for greatness in the booth. Although, Rock, you and I a little bit more gray since that interview, I think.
Well, thanks, Mark. I guess I talk better than I hit. That's why I'm up here, right?
Hey, you hit like 330 that year. Don't sell yourself short, partner.
That was a good year. You're right.
So Mark's going to be with us for this series against the Astros and throughout the rest of the year on occasion, and it's great to have him.
Yeah, he is a Milwaukee institution, Mark Concannon. Of course, I didn't get a chance to see him too much because he came on the air normally, with Fox on at about 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
The morning show.
That's the first shift right there. That's the early shift.
Yeah. But he's a pro. Good to have him.
Yep. We'll be checking in with Mark throughout the ball game today, and of course on Brewers Live following the game. Leadoff hit for the Astros, Pedro Feliz singles, and here is Jason Castro, a young catcher. This is a series that features two rookie catchers who are getting a ton of playing time these days for their respective managers. Jason Castro in just his 6th game as a big leaguer. His 5 for 16 does have a major league home run on his register. A power hitting left-handed bat for these Astros.
Very nice block by Jonathan Lucroy. Bouncing around. Nice night tonight. I mean, it doesn't seem as hot and humid down on the field. Very comfortable for batting practice. Good night to catch. Check out this play. Nice play on a slider down and away.
Ball and a strike on the young catcher, Castro. Slaps one the other way. Oh, I guess it speaks to his ability offensively, Rock, that he would get the call against a left-handed starting pitcher. He's just 23 years of age.
Yes, Humberto Quintero, a right-handed catcher. He's not in there today. One of the reasons why Castro is catching today is because he caught 2 of the 3 rehab starts for Bud Norris down in Round Rock. So a little bit of familiarity there.
1-2 the count on Castro. Lays off. Count evens at 2-2. One of 3 rookies in the starting lineup. The Astros have Jason Castro and Oswaldo Navarro hitting back-to-back in their batting order. And then Chris Johnson, the other rookie in Brad Mills' lineup, he's hitting 5th. Now the talk swirling around the Astros these days is when and if they will deal Roy Oswalt. Oswalt has a no trade clause. He pitched yesterday against Texas and was roughed around by the Rangers a little bit. That might be the team he ends up with before it's all said and done.
That didn't help his cause last night.
Gave up 7 earned runs in 4 2/3 yesterday as the Rangers beat the Astros 10-1. Houston knows they must improve their minor league system, and they're looking for a big trade to do just that. They're trying to do this year what the Texas Rangers did back in the 2007 season. 3-2 pitch, never mind. A check on the runner at first, Feliz. Well, even Lance Bergman said he would be willing to be traded if it helped the ball club.
Yeah, a lot of the veterans on this ball club, you would imagine that the Houston Astros would take calls about. Carlos Lee, of course, I think the salary for Carlos Lee in the years that he signed for are prohibitive for any team to really bring him on board. A 6-year contract for Carlos Lee, and although Lee has started to heat up a little bit, I don't think he's going to draw much attention.
Hard to believe the Astros playing in Minute Maid Park, which is one of the home run friendly ballparks in the league. Dead last in home runs as Parra strikes out Castro. Burned one off the outside corner. And the second strikeout for Manny Parra.
Online voting is now the only way to get your favorite Brewers into the All-Star game. Voting ends Thursday evening, so we want to hear from you. 25 times each. Fans at home, go to Brewers.com tonight. Vote to elect your favorite Brewers to the All-Star team, and you will be eligible to win a night in Ryan Braun's suite, complete with 12 tickets, food, and a visit from Ryan himself. Visit Brewers.com/All-Star for rules.
And the bottom line there, if you're in our listening audience, if you can hear our voice and you go vote 25 times, your favorite Brewers will be there.
Yep. And year after year, Brewer fans have done a very good job voting the Brewers into the game and have been very influential as to who gets there, particularly that internet vote.
Yeah, Corey Hart was the benefactor 2 years ago in the 08 season.
Jeff Jenkins, another one.
I remember back in 08, Corey Hart actually drew more votes than the New York market. He was in there with David Wright as the top two vote getters, and Brewers fans made their votes count. And Hart actually got the vote and ended up as an All-Star in 08. And he's having an All-Star season again in 2010. Another rookie, Oswaldo Navarro, batting for the Astros. Playing in just his 8th game in the big leagues. He is 1 for 11. Well, the Astros had Tommy Manzella starting every day at short, but he fractured his finger defensively, so he's out for a while. And the Astros having to dip down into their minor league system. So here is Navarro with a chance to play just about every day at short. They've also used Jeff Blum at the shortstop position.
Yeah, pretty good series against the Brewers here at Miller Park early in the year. Manzella.
Well, Navarro strikes out. Parra with back-to-back Ks gives him 3 and 2 outs here in the second inning.
Now, the Brewer pitching staff is currently ranked 3rd in the National League in strikeouts. They've struck out the 3rd most of any team in the National League. And Manny Parra with that split-fingered fastball gets another one. Yeah, it's been a good run through that rotation. We've been talking about that now for 2 weeks. It's been actually 2 very good runs through the rotation. Brewer starters have been able to eat up innings. Giovanni Gallardo's shutout. See Dave Bush with a very good start. Everybody contributing.
Yeah, a couple of shutouts on this homestand. The Brewers combined for 1 yesterday. Narveson went 8, struck out 7, and John Axford finished it off. Axford with 7 saves now. And it goes hand in hand, doesn't it, Rock? The starting pitching pitches well. They get deep into ball games. All of a sudden you start to see more success out of the bullpen because they don't have to pick up as many innings.
Yeah, and that's a good problem to have if you're Ken Maka. How do you get work for your bullpen? I mean, I don't think any manager is going to complain about that, 'cause that stuff goes in cycles. You go 2-3 weeks without having to stress your bullpen out, and then you go about a 10-day stretch where the guys are pitching too much. So neither the manager nor the relief corps is going to complain about lack of work.
I'll see if Parra can strike out the side here, facing the pitcher Bud Norris. Runner at first, and that one's down in the dirt. We should start to keep the running log of blocked pitches by Jonathan Lucroy. We've got him for 5 at this point. 2-2.
Well, no pitcher is going to get a pat on the back on the ones that he blocks. It's like the mailman, right? He doesn't get a pat on the back when he delivers all the letters. That's his job. That's Lucroy's job behind home plate. Got to block it, particularly, you can give him a pass on a fastball. You don't expect it, but breaking balls, split fingers, different story.
Another strikeout for Manny Parra. He strikes out the side with a runner at first. 4 punch outs already. And we head to the bottom of the second, 1-0 Milwaukee. Second, and we remind you that baseball's biggest stars go head-to-head in the summer's biggest event as Fox brings you every thrilling moment of the 2010 MLB All-Star Game. Coverage begins Tuesday, July 13th, live from Anaheim at 7 p.m. Central, only on Fox. Well, they're dancing here at Miller Park on a Monday. Roof is open. Very nice night for baseball. Much cooler temperatures than we've had the last couple of days. Brewers on top. Jim Edmonds leads off, and Bud Norris deals him ball one. Edmonds, .266 hitter with 3 home runs and 8 driven in. Edmonds getting to start tonight for Carlos Gomez. Those two basically in a 2-man platoon in center field. Well, it's hard to figure. You think about the year Corey Hart has had, and you remember back to the first month of the season, and that 2-man platoon was a 3-man platoon with Hart included. As Edmonds rips one to right field, a base hit. Third hit for the Brew Crew as Edmonds is on for Jonathan Lucroy, and we check in with Mark.
B.A. Jonathan told me yesterday, remember, this is a guy who started the year in Double-A. He said there are times he still can't believe that he's here. But he says he can't be dumbfounded by catching in front of 30 or 40,000 fans. Hitting .311 coming in, blocking Manny Parra's splitters tonight, guys. He's acting like he belongs so far.
He's got a lot of confidence, Mark. I mean, that's one thing that you remember seeing him in spring training. I mean, you talk to him, he feels as though he belongs at the big league level, although he started out in Double-A. You know, Ken Mach and the Brewers organization very impressed with his mental makeup.
I love how Ken Mach described him. He is an empty cup.
In a good way.
In a good way, though. He said he's a guy who does not come to the ballpark every day with an agenda. He just is soaking in what he's been given, and he's done a terrific job, Luke Croy. That one is hit well to center field. Michael Bourne on the run, and he'll run it down for the out. Luke Croy sends Bourne deep to the warning track for the first out of the inning. Our partner, the first word in tonight's Airtran Airways Flyaway is Miller. Keep watching the game, or when the next word is revealed in the Airtran Airways Flyaway, visit foxsportswisconsin.com for details on how you have a chance to win a road trip with the Brewers. Miller. Should be easy enough. Craig Counsell with 1 out. Counsell getting the start today for Escobar. Comes in at .265. Has 12 driven in.
Now, do we have to say the word at some point, and or what? Is that just a word?
Oh yeah, we control it. We're in charge.
So they call in or write in, or what do they do?
Go to foxsportswisconsin.com. Weren't you listening?
I'm just checking. I don't want you to say it again, because I might not be the only one that's confused.
No confusion at all. It's very simple, actually. I noticed you wrote it down, though.
I did.
By the way, you're not eligible.
Not.
You'll be there anyway.
I'm going anyway.
Bouncing ball. Is that foul? It is foul. Called by the crew chief, Brian Gorman.
Well, the first bounce in fair territory, but the second one apparently in foul territory.
It's where the ball is, not where the feet.
That's right.
It's not like the NFL. Good try by Feliz, though. He kept his toes in bounds. Now Bud Norris strikes out Counsell. A backdoor slider, and the second out. Bud Norris has 4 strikeouts already.
He's throwing hard. He's not getting a lot of break on that slider, but it's the speed that has been fooling the Brewer hitters. That slider didn't do anything other than have Counsell out in front.
Well, that was one of those that was so bad it was good. Counsell recognized the spin, was waiting for the break, and it never came. So here is Parra now with 2 outs and Edmonds at first. All but one of the outs for Norris has come on the strikeout. Parra has 2 hits this year. He's 2 for 13. And he drove in a run as well. Remember, he drove in a run, the 20th run in that 20-0 Brewers win in Pittsburgh. It's Parra. That is off the glove of Johnson. It trickles down near the tarp. And Edmonds will go to third. Manny Parra into second base with a double. So the Brewer pitcher keeps the trend alive for Milwaukee starters.
I'll tell you, Marcus Hano's got to be grinning ear to ear. He's the guy responsible for throwing batting practice to the starting rotation. Yeah, Marcus, the Brewers bullpen catcher. These guys have been swinging the bat well. And Manny Parra with his 3rd hit of the year. There's Marcus. Told you he was smiling.
He's always smiling, though. That is 7 hits on the homestand by Brewers starting pitchers. And this is game number 7. Top of the order, here's Weeks. It might be that Marcus Hano's batting practice is so tough. He's so tough to hit that when you get into a game, it's a lot easier against these big league pitchers.
31 hits this year by the Brewers pitching staff.
Well, that's impressive. Well, Weeks, a golden opportunity here to cash in.
Yeah, 31 hits by the pitchers and 25 hits by the pinch hitters. That's a lot of extra offense.
Flips that lineup, gives Ricky Weeks a chance. Second and third, 2 outs, and he is ahead of the count, 2-0. On the corner, a strike. Well, this top of the order since June 20th, going back over a week, they've been very good. You see what Weeks has done with a .423 average. He's driven in 9 during that 8-game stretch, or that 7-game stretch, I beg your pardon. Fielder with a couple of home runs, and Hart has been productive. And because the bottom of the order has done so much damage, the top of the order has been able to ratchet up the RBIs a little bit.
Get guys on base when the top of the order's coming up. That's when we're talking about those pitchers' hits and the pinch hitters. And the fact that Escobar and Lucroy have been swinging a decent bat.
Weeks was ahead 2-0. Now the count is even 2-2. Edmonds at third, Parra at second. And Ricky into right field. That's a base hit. Edmonds will score, and they won't challenge the strong arm of Hunter Pence. A 2-out RBI hit for Ricky Weeks, number 45 of the year in RBIs. And both of the runs for Milwaukee have come with 2 away.
Well, Manny Parra, he gets that double. It continues, keeps the inning alive, and Ricky able to fight one off into right field. A little bit down on the trademark, didn't get all of it, but enough of it to muscle it into right. And because Manny Parra is on second base, Brad Fisher didn't want a collision with his pitcher out there. Leaving there for Corey Hart.
So Hart with runners at the corners and 2 gone, 2-0 Brewers. Now with Bourne in center field and Pence in right, the Astros have the top 2 in outfield assists this year. Pence is second in the league with 6, trailing only his teammate Michael Bourne, who leads the National League in outfield assists with 7.
And the Astros as a team with 18 outfield assists. That's good for third in the National League. So these guys can throw pretty well.
Brad Fisher will be very cautious on balls hit to center and right, but he will certainly take a risk on base hits to left. There's that slider, and it's 1-1.
Here's that one that Swain was talking about. A little bit harder at 90 miles an hour, more like a cutter than an actual slider.
Two-out RBI singles by the Crew. Braun had one of the first. Weeks here in the second. As Hart takes ball 2. Pretty comfortable seat in that batting order in front of Fielder. And you figure Hart will see something to hit here. Our Carsoup.com email the booth question. Patrick in Beloit wants to know, has Corey Hart found a permanent home in the 2 spot of the lineup?
Yep. Yes, he has. I think Ken Maka has been searching for that 2-hitter all year. And well, it's been about, what, 3 weeks to a month that he's been in that number 2 spot. It's been working out pretty well.
Most of Hart's damage this year has come since May 15th. 10 different Brewers have hit in the second spot in the batting order as Hart pulls one foul. Count stays at 2 balls and 2 strikes. So Hart, not your prototypical 2-hitter, but in Ken Maka's mind, he is. He likes that power threat in the 2 spot, especially in a spot like this.
And you see more teams doing that as well. You know, you have Ryan Ludwig. He's in the number 2 spot in that Cardinals batting order.
Weeks takes off, and Hart takes a ball, and Ricky is going to steal second base. He was running on a 2-2 pitch. And a stolen base gives the Brewers 2 in scoring position here with 2 away. Full count with Fielder on deck. Hart singled and scored in the first inning against Norris. And he spoils a good fastball from Bud Norris. Now the power at the top of the lineup. These are the top 5 guys in the batting order, and they are tops on the club in our Powerball home run leaderboard. Hart leads the league. Prince Fielder is currently 9th in the league in home runs, hitting back-to-back. Another 3-2. And Hart out in front, pops that one in the seats. That's pretty much, Rock, been 2 pitches for Bud Norris.
Yeah, haven't seen a curveball, haven't seen any change-ups. It's really been changing speeds on the fastball and the slider.
See what he does here with Hart. Another 3-2 pitch, and Hart sends one into left field. A base hit. Parra scores. Here comes Weeks. He'll score. And Corey Hart comes through again. It is 4-0 Milwaukee as Hart delivers 2 with an RBI single.
Now the Brewers 3 for 3 with runners in scoring position tonight. All singles. Have driven in all 4 runs. And Corey Hart able to wait back just long enough on that slider away from those long arms, that long bat, able to get enough of to sneak it into left field. And with Ricky Weeks at second base, able to score easily. Well, Manny Parra plates number 3 for the Brewers. And here comes Ricky. There's that slider. I mean, Corey Hart needed every inch of those long arms in that bat to reach that one right on the end of the bat and able to pull it into the hole into the left field.
Brad Orangeburg, the Astros pitching coach, a word with his young right-hander. Quick trip to the mound for Houston. Those 2 RBIs for Hart give him 60 for the year. One off the league lead. David Wright has 61. And there's Hart with 60.
I don't see any way they can keep him off the All-Star team. I mean, there's no way. First in homers, second in RBIs. He's got to be there.
Well, that stolen base was big. Weak steals second. He's able to score on the base hit. Now Fielder, as that one's in the dirt. So you figure at some point Bud Norris is going to have to show something other than a fastball and a slider.
Everything's hard. Yep, nothing off speed. And the Brewers able to battle up there, although they have struck out 4 times. They do have 6 hits.
Fielder struck out his last time up. And there's a strike on a breaking ball.
A little wrinkle that time.
Tough to tell if it was a backup slider or a changeup. Four to nothing Milwaukee. All 4 runs delivered with 2 outs. Braun, Hart, and Weeks delivering the base hits. Fielder slices one into the seats in foul territory. He's going to be okay. Everybody okay. That's the most action that Tarp has had ever at Miller Park. Oh, face first, too. Yeah. That's what you call a decleater right there, Rob. Decleater. Prince off the end of the bat. Michael Bourne coming in. And he's got it. The inning is over, but the Brewers score 3, and they lead 4-0 as we head to the 3rd. Are his bandmates, and we're here with Dan Atanasio, Mark Atanasio, proud father, and of course you know who Bill Schroeder is. It's
hey guys,
great to have you guys with us. You got a big day tomorrow, Dan. You're going to be up on the big stage in the spotlight.
Yeah, big day. Very, very excited to play.
3 o'clock. Give us the details of your performance tomorrow. 3 o'clock. And what's the stage out at Summerfest?
The Cool TV Rock Miller Lite stage.
All right, appropriate. He's a cool guy. We use his music. By the way, thanks for letting us use your music.
Of course.
If you'd like to sue for copyright infringement, you can look to the man next door here.
There's actually a whole copyright thing we had to look at. They came down on my seats the other day, Dan, and said, "Are we sure we got the copyright straight for this?"
Yeah. Well, Manny Parra on the mound as we move to the third inning, top of the Astros order, and we're off to a good start here today. Here's the information: Pan Am, the band, 3 o'clock, the Cool TV rock stage, and they'll be making their third appearance. So how have the first 2 appearances gone, Dan?
Great. Fantastic.
And they brought you back, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, always a good thing.
Got some new material for this year?
We do indeed. Should be really fun. We're incredibly excited. Fantastic festival. We're just really happy to be here and hope to put on a really good show.
All right, well, we're looking forward to seeing some highlights as Michael Bourne sends one deep to right, and Corey Hart is out of room. So Bourne goes deep, his first home run of the year. And the Astros are on the board. It is 4-1 Milwaukee. Bourne has 2 hits against Manny Parra. So the Stros are on the board here in this third inning.
And not very often going to see Michael Bourne take a swing like that. My goodness, hit that one a long way. Yeah, Manny Parra doesn't give up many home runs either. That's only the 6th that he's allowed this year. And check this out. Fastball up and in, and he got all of it. Speaking of Pan Am, looked like a plane getting out of here, didn't it?
And now a base hit by Keppinger. So a base runner with nobody out. Well, Mark, we hit the air today talking about the Brewers maybe a couple of weeks ago, thinking about the selling market, and now we're into the maybe buying market time because this has been a very successful homestand so far.
Yeah, the team looks great, and I think it's fair to say that the conversations that I've had with Doug over the last several days have been much more in the buy mode than the sell mode.
And that is good to hear. And I remember we had you on a couple of weeks ago, and you looked at this homestand as really the gauge on where this organization was headed next this year.
Yeah, we're really at an inflection point, and I'm focused on the fact that we're 7.5 games out, with 21 games to go against the Cardinals and the Reds, 12 against the Reds, and so you can make up those games just head to head, and everything's kind of coming together: the pitching, the situational hitting, and also, by the way, we measure our defense not just by errors but by our range factor. Our defense is starting to make plays, and it's somewhat connected, right? I mean,
right.
The defense makes plays and the pitching looks better.
Defense makes plays, doesn't give up, extra outs, and the pitching has less outs to get. A couple of weeks ago, Mark, it would have been obvious what the team was looking for as far as being a buyer of pitching, but the pitching's been so good. I mean, where do you go from there?
Yeah, well, the pitching, frankly, right now it looks like we got, with Doug Davis coming back, 6 starters for 5 spots. That's a high-class problem.
There's a throw to second, and Edmonds gets the force play. So they turn something into an out instead of a base hit. That is going to be an 8-6 putout at second base, and Keppinger, who is in no man's land, is retired.
Yeah, that's a tough at-bat right there for Hunter Pence, but a good heads-up play, Mark, by Craig Counsell. Craig Counsell's a guy that's never going to let you down. He's a smart baseball player. Let Ricky go out, but Craig fielding his position like a first baseman on this play.
And you can see Jim Edmonds is always alert, and the veteran presence we have with Edmonds and Counsell, I think, has helped us here with them both being back, from injury, in this winning streak.
Got Mark Atanasio here, Brewers chairman, along with Dan Atanasio and the band Pan Am, and we're promoting his show tomorrow out at Summerfest at the Cool TV stage. And that one is a fair ball down the line. It bounces off the sidewall, and now Braun will chase it back to the infield. So it might have saved a run there. Pence is very fast, and the Brewers might have caught a break.
They also caught a break with Carlos Lee not running down to first base. I mean, there's a ball right there that you'd think maybe get into second base, but Manny now has a chance to get out of this mess with a double play.
And one of the things my son Dan is learning is how hard it is to be up in the booth here when you don't like what's going on and to keep your calm.
Are you watching your dad when all these with these base hits going?
I'm fidgeting a little
very
bit.
calm here.
Yeah. Because if anybody knows what Mark is thinking, it's Dan. He's probably been next door for many years. But, yeah.
About 20 of them.
Careful what comes out of your mouth, Dan, when you're up here in the booth, for sure. How is your pops? Is he more nervous watching a Brewers game or watching you perform in front of a big crowd at Summerfest?
I don't know. That's a question for my dad.
Actually, I'm more nervous at a Brewers game because I've been to enough Dan's performances, and I'm always surprised that he and his bandmates, they all seem like they're having fun and they're not nervous. So I don't know why I'm nervous.
That skips away from Lucroy, and Pence will score the run. So the Astros have scored twice, and a wild pitch from Manny Parra. That's his second.
So what are the rest of the band members doing tonight? They here tonight
The band members?
at the ballpark?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're down in the
Yeah.
seats there
Yeah.
behind. Looks like they moved down now one row behind where Debbie and I sit. There they are.
Who are they, Dan? Introduce us here.
Guy on the far left is Sam Perlmutter, who plays the drums. Guy in the middle, Stephen Lundy. He is our singer, and he plays rhythm guitar. Guy on the far left is his older brother, Gary Lundy, and he plays lead guitar.
And that's my wife Debbie and my son Mike and his girlfriend Lauren. Lauren obviously enjoying being on TV and Mike pretending like he's not seeing it.
Yeah, you got the monitor down there, so you know what's going on. Right?
Mikey here. Nice going, Mikey. It's that easy. Man, some of the perks.
That's great.
Nice work right there. He's having a good night.
There he is.
Well, 3 balls and a strike to count on Chris Johnson. So 2 runs are in here in the third. The Brewers trying to get through this third inning. Carlos Lee out at second base, just 1 out. And 3 hits in this inning. And it'll be a walk. So all of a sudden, Manny Parra scuffling here in this third inning, second time through the batting order.
And not quite sure why. I mean, he's really was dominating, in the first couple of innings. But maybe running the bases. Who knows? He's a young kid. It shouldn't have bothered him like that. But not the same pitcher here in the third inning as he was in the first 2.
Here comes the pitching coach.
Rick Peterson on his way to the mound.
So, Mark, your thoughts on the All-Star battling so far? Corey Hart's situation, Giovanni Gallardo, an opportunity. I mean, 2 guys other than Ryan Braun that have a pretty good chance of being in Anaheim.
Well, Corey Hart, I think now leads the league in home runs and RBIs. So I don't know how they keep him out of the game.
Right.
And Yo is, I believe, leading the league in strikeouts, which also is a good barometer for getting a spot.
5th in ERA.
Right. And he's got a number of wins. I can't really follow all these rules and who votes for what. But I think they're well regarded by their peers insofar as the players vote.
Yeah, the players had a vote. I think it was Friday they officially voted. Players, coaches, and managers from around Major League Baseball. And then the 2 All-Star managers, it'll be Charlie Manuel in the National League, will fill out the rest of the rosters. The rosters expanded this year to 34. And that's a good thing. It gives an extra position players, and there was a number of rule changes, including that extra roster spot and the fact that the designated hitter will be used from now on, despite the ballpark. Bouncing ball is short. Got a chance here to second for 1. The turn in time and a double play. All right, Dan, we wish you the best. We can't wait to roll the footage. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
Pan Am playing at Summerfest. Mark, always great to see you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thanks a lot for your time. We roll out with a little music from Pan Am. Presented by Piggly Wiggly, the official supermarket of Fox Sports Wisconsin. And by Ho-Chunk Gaming Wisconsin, your ticket to more. Well, Manny Parra gets a key double play in the third inning. And the Brewers get out of a mess. 2-run scores. Ryan Braun sends one deep to left center. That is way back, and that ball is gone. Ryan Braun. Home run number 11 for Braun. And the Brewers have a 5-2 lead.
Now, not messing around. First pitch, got a fastball and gave it a good ride. Well, it's been a while for Ryan. His last home run came against the Anaheim Angels, that grand slam, about 2 weeks ago. Well, I tell you, nice, good leverage. He hit it, put his head down, and knew he hit the home run. Number 11 for Brawny.
So the Brewers get one right back. And they have scored in every inning against Bud Norris so far.
That's what you call extension right there, partner. Check that. Hit it out there, out in the hitting zone, and gave it a ride right on the sweet spot.
Amazing the kind of power he can generate in that frame. Well, he and Fielder, 2 home run hitters who go about it in different ways, but produce the same kind of ball flight. So Braun with 2 hits. He's driven in 2. Braun had that 2-out RBI single in the first inning.
And it's such an explosive offense up and down that batting order. Guys can take you out of the ballpark. You're never really safe with this Brewers lineup, particularly the top 6 in the order today, with Edmonds batting 6th.
Casey McGee, a 2-2 count, and McGee shoots one into left field. That's a base hit. Well, the Brewers are racking up the hits so far tonight. That is the 8th of the ball game.
Hey, Todd Coffey is currently in the lead to be the next We Energies High Energy Player of the Year with 66% of the votes. Cast your vote today at Brewers.com/We Energies. It's got to be the run-in from the bullpen for Coffey.
The sprint. Coffey said he's starting to feel a lot better. You know, he needed a couple of outings at the big league level. That injured thumb that had him on the disabled list for 3 weeks. But for a sinker ball pitcher, I would imagine that is one of those injuries that it's going to take a while to get your feel back.
Yeah.
He didn't pick up a ball for about 2 weeks.
He made a couple of rehab appearances and, you know, got rocked his first time out since his return.
That was a good visit with Mark Atanasio and his son Dan. We're happy to promote his band out at Summerfest tomorrow, Dan's band. And Mark had some great things to say as well, and what you want to hear this time of year. And even as we went to the break, Mark was telling us, you know, this is the kind of organization that wants to make an impact, and if they can, they'll do it. And the results have been there in the past. If you go back to the CC Sabathia deal back in 2008, so it'll be interesting to see where the Brewers are headed from a front office perspective as they take a look at potential trades. Edmonds back to the mound. Norris fires to second. The return throw is in time. Norris is walking to the dugout, but he'll have to do an about face. Just 2 outs.
Yep, it's a 3-out league.
Nicely started on the double play by the Astros pitcher, however.
And right off the end of the bat, looked like a BP fastball. That's a pitch that Norris has broken out, you know, at the end of that second inning. You know, taking a little off, getting a little sink on the fastball, about 85 to 86 miles an hour, that time having Edmonds out in front. So he's trying to add a third pitch here tonight.
Here's Luke Croy.
Just can't get by with 2 pitches if you're a starter. I mean, particularly 2 pitches that have big velocity. 88 to 90 with the slider, and then up to 96 with the fastball. You got to keep the hitters off balance somehow with something off speed. He's attempting to do that tonight. He's added another. You can get away with that as a reliever, maybe one time through, but not as a starter.
Lucroy had a good hack. 2 balls, 1 strike to count on the Brewer catcher. Jonathan started the day batting .311. In his first home run here on Friday against the Mariners, his first big league home run. It was a 3-run game tying home run. Two and two the count. Hey, there's Bob Uecker making an appearance at the ballpark. It's good to see you. It's the 3rd time he's been at Miller Park during this homestand.
Looking better every time he comes out. Every time you see him, he's feeling a little bit better. Still not ready to get on the air, though.
Don't think we haven't asked. The bouncing ball to second. Keppinger will make the play, and Lucroy is out. The inning is over, but Ryan Braun delivers a big bomb into left center. Home run number 11, and it's 5-2 Brewers.
Wisconsin students were recognized as the winners of scholarship funds donated by several Milwaukee Brewer players and the Brewer Community Foundation and Sea League Scholars Program. With the class of 2010, a total of 72 students have now been selected as scholarship recipients. The scholarships presented to excellent students who face financial challenges in attending college. The students and their families enjoying tonight's game from a Miller Park party suite. Guys, one of the many benefits of getting good grades.
Yeah, it's great to see the Brewers reaching out into the community. Thanks, Mark. 5-2 our score. Braun's home run gives the Crew a 3-run lead as we play in the 4th. A lot of offense here tonight. The Brewers have scored in every inning in this game. Astros scored twice in the 3rd. And now Manny Parra trying to put up a 0. Parra with 4 strikeouts through the first 2 innings. And getting a key double play from Pedro Feliz to end the last frame. Jason Castro, the young catcher. Parra struck him out looking his last time up. And the count goes full, 3-2. A lot of deep counts for Manny Parra. His pitch count is at 64 at this point as we play in the 4th inning.
Well, Manny putting himself into fastball counts last inning, and the Astros able to hurt him. Some hard hit balls in that third inning. And we were talking about Carlos Lee and that ball down the line, and Carlos was satisfied with a single right out of the box. We're talking about, keeping that double play alive. Had he perhaps hustled and got into second base, Astros might have had another at bat.
Well, that's a great point, and it certainly could have led to another run. Strike called on the outside corner as Parra rings up the young catcher Castro.
And the second time that he's watched the fastball on the outside corner go by. Young man needs to start swinging the bat. Very good pitch for Manny Parra. Not sure where Castro thinks it missed, but a good pitch, and Jonathan holds it there nicely for Tony Randazzo.
Fifth strikeout for Parra. Oswaldo Navarro now batting. Navarro, a strikeout victim in the second inning. Now, if you're Manny Parra, this is the part of the batting order that you have to dominate tonight. You got two rookies in the pitcher, and Parra has nothing but strikeouts against the bottom of his batting order so far. That one's on the corner. 1-2 the count.
You always have to take advantage of a night when you don't have to deal with Lance Berkman 4 times. Getting tonight off, even though he has tremendous numbers against Manny Parra throughout his career. That's a big bat out of this lineup tonight.
The big Puma. Parra deals a 2-2. Navarro fouls it away, stays alive. Well, the Astros, the final leg of this 3-team homestand. The Brewers swept the Twins, took 2 out of 3 from the Mariners with that win yesterday, and then 3 left with Houston on this homestand. After that, it's just a quick 4-game series in St. Louis through the 4th of July weekend, and then the Brewers are right back here at Miller Park. They're in the middle of a stretch with 16 out of 20 at home.
The Brewers did a nice job in interleague play this year. One of their best interleague records in a long time, 9-6.
First winning interleague record in 4 years for Milwaukee. 3-2 pitch. And a little pop-up foul. Boy, Navarro is hanging tough.
You see the White Sox record in interleague play, 15-3.
Yeah, how about that?
Pretty good run. They're back in that race.
And I think when you talk about the Brewers and where they sit right now, and remember, this is just the 28th of June. There's a lot of baseball to be played here, more than half the schedule. I think guys like Ken Maka, Mark Atanasio, Doug Melvin, they'll point to the White Sox to show you how fast things can turn around. As Parra loses Navarro, so a long battle, and Navarro finally draws the walk. And a base runner with 1 out here in the 4th. AT&T Trivia tonight. Which 3 players from the 1980 Montreal Expos team currently managing in the major leagues? That's a very good question. Well, you know, Maka's on that list. He was an Expo in '80. Three from one team now managing. Bunt is popped up, and Parra makes the play for out number 2. So Norris unable to execute the sacrifice. It's the second out of the inning.
Well, Manny gave him the fastball, got it up in the strike zone, and an easy out. Decent base running by Navarro not to get doubled off. A lot of times you're out there, you don't have great speed, and that pitcher's up. You think about getting that big jump to be able to get into second base, but Navarro able to get back to first.
Now 2 outs now. And Michael Bourne coming up. Bourne, his last time up, went deep against Parra. His first home run of the year. Bourne's first home run since July 10th of 2009. What a span of 543 at-bats without a long ball. And it was a no-doubter in the right field for Michael Bourne.
Up and in, and Bourne able to pull the hands in and shot it out of here pretty good. Second deck. And Manny threw one in this at-bat. First pitch, same spot, and he sprayed it into the seats along the third baseline.
Ten career home runs for Michael Bourne in over 1,400 at-bats. The long ball is not part of his game. Has 2 hits tonight, though. Oh, another good block back there by Lucroy. You look at the White Sox. They have won 9 of their last 10. The White Sox open the day a game and a half back of the Twins in the American League Central. And it was just a couple of weeks ago that talks in Chicago were that this was a lost season for both the Cubs and the White Sox. And both would be trying to sell off some veteran players. But not the case with Chicago on the south side.
Yeah, well, the Twins cooled off. They've lost 7 of the last 10 games. Detroit 5-5, and as you mentioned, the White Sox 9-1 in their last 10 games, so they're right back in it.
1-2 pitch, and Bourne rolls over one foul.
And we talked about the best record in the interleague play portion of the schedule this year. The worst, the Pirates, 2-13 this year. Just one game better than the Astros.
Well, the Pirates have lost 6 straight. They are in the cellar of the division right now. The Reds top the division by a half a game over the Cardinals. Then the Brewers, 7.5 back. Tonight, the Reds hosting Philadelphia, and Cincinnati is winning 7-1. That's in the bottom of the 8th inning. So the Reds at home are leading 7-1 over Philadelphia. Scott Rowland is homered again. He now has 17 home runs for the year. What a comeback he has had. Strike 3 called. Bourne asked for time. He didn't get it. And Bourne is rung up, and that's strikeout number 6 for Manny Parra. And now Brad Mills will intercede. You could see Tony Randazzo saying, I didn't hear you say time. One, Brewers, Astros, and it has been the 2-out hits that have been key for Milwaukee tonight. Ryan Braun homered in the 3rd inning. That was to lead off the 3rd, but the Brewers have 2-out RBIs from Corey Hart, Ryan Braun, and Ricky Winks. Meanwhile, Manny Parra is through 4, 6 strikeouts for Manny. And here we go to the bottom of the 4th inning with Craig Counsell leading off against Bud Norris.
Well, good lesson to be learned with that Michael Bourne strikeout. You can call time, but that doesn't mean time is called. You got to stay in there, be ready until the umpire calls time, and it cost him an out.
And you could see Randazzo saying, "I did not hear you. I didn't hear you say time."
Plus, even if he did hear him and he figured it was too late, not going to call time.
Right.
Manny Parra had, started his delivery, or very close it seemed like, and just because you put your hand up or call timeout doesn't mean the umpire is going to give it to you. You always have to be ready.
And more umpires these days with the speed up rules in place and a little pressure on the umpiring crew to quicken the games a little bit are not awarding timeout on all costs. I think the king of the no time giving is Angel Hernandez behind the plate.
Yeah. Hey, the ultimate authority in the speed up rule game, Angel Hernandez.
Five to 2, the Brewers lead the Astros here in the 4th. A lot of offense early. Milwaukee has 5 runs on 8 hits. Both pitchers have committed errors. The error by Bud Norris in the 1st inning allowed the Crew to score a run on that Braun RBI single with 2 away. 4 of the 5 runs driven in with 2 outs for the Brew Crew tonight. Counsell just lays into one out to right, and it's Hunter Pence for the 1st out. Well, our trivia tonight has to do with the 1980 Expos. Which 3 players from that club are currently managing in the major leagues? Ken Maka is one, and Brad Mills was a member of the 1980 Montreal Expos. And how about Jerry Manuel? That's the one I didn't have. Manuel of the Mets, also on that 1980 Expos ball club. Well, Mills in his 1st season as the Astros skipper. Well, he comes with some big credentials. He came from the Red Sox, where he was the bench coach. And Dale Swain is not a guy who throws out superlatives very often, but Swain coached with Mills on that 04 Red Sox club, that World Championship team, and has very high praise for Brad Mills.
Says he's a good guy, knows the game of baseball very well. I remember early in the season when the Astros got out to an 0-8 start. They've turned things around somewhat. They're off to been in a rough stretch right now, but they turned things around, got back to respectability. And
you wonder where the Astros are headed. They certainly have some pieces that other teams would like as Parra strikes out. But a farm system that has been a little thin over the years, it is starting to improve. One thing the Astros, one area they have suffered for a few years there, they were unable to sign some of their high round draft picks. So they were making a lot of picks, but they were unable to get these guys signed. And that, of course, has a delayed residual effect in the farm system.
Wasting a 1st rounder. Yeah, can't get him in. Get your best players not in your farm system. That makes it tough. They made some moves in the offseason, but mostly with a pitching staff. Just haven't been able to score runs. And that stuns me, particularly for right-handed hitters in that ballpark down in Houston.
The fewest home runs in the National League, the Houston Astros. And the lowest batting average at .236 as a team. Ricky Weeks is 1 for 2 tonight. He singled in a run in the second, then he stole a base, which was a big steal as it turned out. It allowed him to score on a single by Corey Hart. Ricky Weeks has now scored a run, at least one run, in 9 consecutive games. Just what you want out of your leadoff hitter.
83 hits now in 76 games. Talk about a streaky hitter, Ricky Weeks.
He can put together a month's worth of numbers in a week. Coming off a 4-hit game yesterday. And what you like about Weeks right now offensively, he's going the other way. He's really driving the ball to the opposite field. And his base hit RBI in the second inning came to right.
And starting to handle that pitch in on him. I mean, that's the book on Ricky. At least that's what we've seen throughout his career. Pitchers try to jam him, and that's why he gets hit by so many pitches. But when they leave one out over the plate lately, particularly in this homestand, he's been able to drive him out of the ballpark, get good wood on him.
Ricky was telling us at the beginning of the homestand, you know, he was trying to fix something that wasn't broke. Pitcher's starting to crowd him inside, pitch inside a lot more often. And instead of taking inside pitches, taking that for a ball, he was basically jamming himself as he draws the walk here. So Weeks aboard for the second time. Extends the inning for Corey Hart, just the man you want to have hit in this 4th inning. Nobody in baseball has been hotter than Corey Hart since May 15th. That is his line in the sand, if you will. And look at the numbers that he has produced. David Wright is the RBI leader in the National League, and Hart with 9 more runs batted in since May 15th than David Wright. 15 home runs. 10 is next on the list.
Yeah, one of the reasons why the Brewers continue to be at the top or near the top in just about every offensive category in the National League, including batting average, and that's a statistic that the Brewers typically are not in a very good spot.
Hart with 2 hits tonight. He's driven in a pair, and he scored a run.
Yeah, Brewers 5th in the league in batting average. Not bad. You combine that with all their power, it's been a pretty good offensive year. They're starting to be more consistent now. They used to be all or nothing, but now they're starting to spread their offense out day to day.
Hart's average is up to 278 with his 2 hits tonight. Well, Ricky looks like he wants to run. Weeks stole a base in the second inning. His 5th of the year. That's a tough call as far as the running game goes. You know, Hart has that home run potential. He's instant offense. But it was Weeks' steal back in the second that allowed Corey to drive in 2 instead of 1 with that base hit.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, you got to make sure you get a good jump, particularly when you have home run hitters at the plate. Nothing wrong with running as long as you make it. You know, Ken Maka loves the running game as long as the guys make it and they're safe.
Ooh, inside almost hit him.
This would be a good pitch to run on right here. You figure Norris wants to throw a strike.
Braun down in the hold right now. Fielder is on deck. Weeks stays put, and Hart takes a strike. Knows he let a good one go by.
Yeah, slider that stayed in the middle part of the plate.
Corey Hart has been in that 2-hole in the batting order since June 11th. The 16th game batting second. There goes Ricky, and Hart fouls it back.
Seems like it's been longer than that.
Yeah. 16 games, including tonight, and we talked about the surge of Ricky Weeks that coincides with Hart's placement in that 2-hole. Each hitter protecting the other. Now we'll see if Ricky is on the move again. 2 balls, 2 strikes. He stays put. Hart strikes out. So the inning is over. Weeks stranded at first, and we head to the 5th. 5-2 Brewers.
Only way to get your favorite Brewers into the All-Star game. Voting ends Thursday evening, so we want to hear from you 25 times each. Fans at home, go to Brewers.com tonight. Vote to elect your favorite Brewers to the All-Star team. And you will be eligible to win a night in Ryan Braun's suite, complete with 12 tickets, food, and a visit from Ryan himself. Visit Brewers.com/All-Star for rules.
Well, Jeff Keppinger makes the first out, grounds out to short. Good to see Robin Yount earlier in the week on the instructional, like on Friday night. Robin Yount and Jim Gantner teaching us how to turn a double play.
No two better.
That was fun. Good job arranging that, partner. What was your role in that, by the way?
I was the moderator.
Nice.
You know what I liked most about that? The way those two got on each other. They teased each other the whole time.
As if they were still playing in the same infield.
Yeah.
You never forget.
Don't see each other all the time, you know, a few times a year, but it's those relationships that you don't have to, you know, warming up in the bullpen when you see each other. You pick up right where you left off.
Right. Now, we saw that this year. Remember at the on-deck event in January, celebrating the 40th anniversary, and the Brewers brought in guys like Robin Yount, Jeff Cirillo, Greg Vaughn, Dale Swain came back. It was a really fun event to see how those guys interacted and continued just as if they were playing. Pence drives one into right center field. Hart is there. Oh, it's off his glove. And Pence, running all the way, will end up at second base. Well, Corey was right there, and somehow it went in and out of his glove. That'll be a double for Hunter Pence.
Well, he took a good angle on the baseball. He forgot one thing: catch the baseball. He got there. Well, Pence hit this one a pretty well to the opposite field. It was up and away. Corey got there, but right off the end of the glove, actually overran it. Went right off the top of his glove, and will probably be a double.
So a runner at second for Carlos Lee. 5-2, Brewers lead the Astros, and that one just misses. Pence on board for the second time. Reached on a fielder's choice his last time up. Carlos Lee pops it up. Foul territory and playable. Who wants it? Lucroy is there. Out number 2. As Lee is retired.
Yeah, had a good cut, just got underneath. Looked like a changeup that stayed up in the strike zone, and Lee with the big swing got underneath, and Luke were able to squeeze it for the out. A pretty good hack right there, but out in front, underneath. That's a big batter to get out in that situation.
Yep, now Parra can deal with the rookie Chris Johnson with a runner at second. Astros have 6 hits. 3 of those hits came in the 3rd inning. Parra got a big double play in that 3rd to get out of a mess. Had runners at first and second with 1 out. The Astros threatening, already 2 runs in, and induced a 6-4-3 double play from Pedro Feliz. Well, Johnson made a splash with this Astros club this spring. He led the Grapefruit League, the Florida version of spring training, in home runs and RBIs. Made the club out of spring training. Johnson was injured in April, however. Put him on the disabled list at the end of the month, and then when he came back, they sent him back to AAA. Spent a month down there, and he got a second chance, and he's made the most of it.
Astros have used a lot of players so far this year, including Jason Bourgeois, who is with the Astros right now. He was with the Brewers last year for a while. Outfielder.
Johnson had some pretty big numbers down in AAA Round Rock. 8 homers, 33 driven in just 38 games, and a .329 batting average. Well, the Astros went out this offseason. They made a couple of acquisitions. They signed Brett Myers from the Phillies. They also signed Pedro Feliz to play third base. And here we are at the end of June, and Brad Mills is going to let his young prospect third baseman get some work here, with Feliz kind of the odd man out. Parra strikes him out. So Manny Parra is racking up the Ks here tonight. He is through 5. He has 7 strikeouts. And the Brewers have a 5-2 lead. Lottery and its family of instant scratch games. Odds are you'll like them. And by Airtran. Go, there's nothing stopping you.
And tonight's Town of the Game winner is Edgewater Country Club in Tomahawk. Everybody knows where Tomahawk is. That's south of Rhinelander, BA. You know where Rhinelander is, right?
Beautiful country.
Up north?
Up north there.
If Tavern Contact calls the Brewers in the next 24 hours, they get 40 Miller Lite beer pen tickets to a Brewers home game. This offer courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and Miller Lite.
All right, Prince Fielder leads off for the Crew as we move to the bottom of the fifth. 5-2 Brewers. Ryan Braun is homered tonight. He's driven in a pair on 2 hits. Fielder gets under one to left. Carlos Lee coming in. And the first out of the 5th inning. The second word in tonight's Airtran Airways flyaway is park. Be sure to keep watching as the final word will be revealed later in the game. Visit foxsportswisconsin.com for details on how you have a chance to win a road trip with the Brewers.
Now, since I wrote down the first word, can I say that again or no?
Subject to announcer approval.
Is that yes or no?
No.
No? Okay.
You can do whatever you want. You just have to deal with the consequences. But the second word is park.
Right. I was told I can't say anything.
Now we want to encourage people to watch
the whole game,
the entire telecast.
I get it.
You know, those diehard fans who have a chance to join us on the road. Braun into right center field. Bourne calling for it. And he's got it the first time. Braun has been retired. 2 up, 2 down here in the 5th inning.
Yeah, Bud Norris has settled down nicely after that home run and base hit by Braun and McGee. He's only allowed a 2-out walk to Ricky Weeks. That's been it.
Two outs for Casey McGee. He singled his last time up. I've seen a few more maybe change-ups, or as you said, maybe like a batting practice fastball, a sinker from Bud Norris. Just a pitch to get him off the hard stuff.
Yep, keep him off balance. Keep him honest.
Well, the Astros like this pitcher a lot, Bud Norris. Matter of fact, the battery for the Astros tonight, Norris and Jason Castro, the top 2 Houston prospects in their organization. Castro #1, Norris #2 when the year began. There's a line drive, base hit. Casey McGee with a single. So Casey is 2 for 3, and it's another 2-out base runner for Milwaukee.
Now Norris has yet to retire the Brewers in order tonight. He's come close a couple of times. You know, fastball out away from McGee, down on the end, but able to muscle it out into right field. Actually into center field for a base hit. And Casey 2 for 3.
Now for the Brewers tonight, with 2 outs, they have 5 hits, and they've placed 6 runners on with 2 away. And McGee takes off, and the throw to second base is in time for the out. Maybe a missed sign. McGee gunned down, getting over at second base. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Milwaukee Brewers. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent of the Brewers. 5-2 is our score. Milwaukee leads Houston. Game 1 of this 3-game series, and the final 3 games of this homestand. Back at it tomorrow night, and then Wednesday is an afternoon game here. Then the Brewers are headed to St. Louis. I saw where Jeff Suppan is scheduled to pitch Wednesday for the Cardinals. So in that 4-game series, the Brewers will not get to face their former teammate.
That's too bad. That would have been exciting. I mean, not to say, anything good or bad about Suppan, but that would have been an interesting matchup.
On the ground, a base hit by Pedro Feliz.
Always thinking the worst, aren't you, over there?
No, not at all. I would have enjoyed the drama of that storyline.
That's what I mean.
Well, Major League Baseball, People Magazine, and the Milwaukee Brewers are pleased to announce that Mitch Arnold is the People All-Stars finalist for the Brewers since creating the Pieces Goal Foundation in October of '06 at age 13, by the way. Mitch of Fort Atkinson has shipped over $20,000 in soccer equipment to children in the U.S. and 3 other countries, and he's helped create soccer programs in the Philippines, Haiti, Romania, and he holds soccer camps as well. So that's a great thing, and we're proud of him. And Mitch will be the Brewers representative at the All-Star game in Anaheim.
Yep, good luck, Mitch.
Villanueva loosening for the 6th inning, hoping Parra can get through it, and Villanueva would move to the 7th. Pitch count is starting to become an issue for Manny. It's at 101 right now. Parra has yet to have that clean inning. Here comes Rick Peterson. Parra's been going along okay for the Brewers. He certainly has been able to keep his club in ball games, but that next plateau is to keep the pitch count down, keep it below 20 in each inning. But so far, Rock, when you rack up 7 strikeouts, you're going to have a lot of pitches.
7 strikeouts, and he's minimized the walks tonight. I mean, that really hasn't been a problem for him, only 2. But it's all about commanding the fastball. And Manny early in the count's been able to throw that fastball on the corners, keep it down, get ahead of the hitters, and his out pitch has been the splitter and the changeup. Both of those pitches have been very good for him in his last 4 starts.
2-0 is the count on Jason Castro. Oh, and that one missed badly. 3-0. I think Manny Parra is where Giovanni Gallardo was at the beginning of the year as far as the deep counts, pitch counts high through 4 and 5 innings.
I think the adjustment that Gallardo has made throughout the season, less breaking stuff early in the count, more fastballs, get ahead, throw the curveball, for the put-away pitch. That really isn't Manny Parra's issue. His issue is just being able to throw the fastball for a strike.
And there's a fastball that missed. So a single and a walk to start this 6th inning, and all of a sudden the Astros bring the tying run to the plate. And Parra's rope is running short. Matter of fact, it is at the end here. So Mock is going to make the change. Parra goes 5. In line for a win, but he'll have to turn it over to his bullpen for the final 4 innings. We'll take a break.
Friday games and 2 Wisconsin State Fair adult admission tickets. Good any day through the fair's 11-day run, August 5th through the 15th. For details, call 414-902-4000 or visit brewers.com/state fair today.
Hopefully we'll have some cream puffs coming our way.
I like them. But they're like a high fastball.
Yeah. Yes, they are. They look good, but they're not good for you. Carlos Villanueva is on to restore order here as 2 men are on to start this 6th inning. Villanueva, his 37th appearance. And the Astros are at the bottom of their batting order with Oswaldo Navarro, but instead of the rookie, Brad Mills is going to go to his bench right here. He's going to take a chance at it with Jeff Blum. See the numbers for Parra. Still 2 runners that are his responsibility, but 5+ with 7 strikeouts. And at this point, 2 earned runs. Parra could win this game if the Brewers can finish it off, but a long way to go here. So Jeff Blum is on to hit. Pinch hitting, he'll likely stay in the game at short.
Carlos has had some success against left-hand batters this year. A .219 opponent batting average against lefties for Carlos Villanueva. Ken Maka doesn't mind the matchup with Villanueva and lefties. In this case, Jeff Blum, a switch hitter.
Now Blum's been a good hitter off the bench for Mills. He has 6 hits and 21 at-bats. But most of those pinch hit appearances have come as a left-handed hitter. 2 on, nobody out. Bouncing ball, fielder makes the play, got to hit Villanueva, does so. And 1 gone. So a nice play.
Yeah, Blum able to get the job done, although he didn't get the base hit. He got a couple of men in scoring position. That's a nice play by Prince. Go down the line in foul territory. Had to set himself and make a good throw to Villa covering first.
And back to the mound goes Lucroy, and check in with Mark and Cannon. And what we just saw there, Mark, is a lot of what we saw at 3:30 today.
That's right, B.A. A little Monday maintenance today. Pitchers fielding practice. Now, this is something you see a fundamental drill every day in spring training, but rarely do you see it during the season. They were practicing this before the game. You see Carlos Villanueva getting over there very nicely. Prince putting it right on the money. You rarely see this during the season, this type of preseason workout. Today's was scheduled, though. Ken Maka told me he was happy with the pace of it, keeping his guys sharp on a Monday, which is something I guess we all need, right?
It's a work day on Monday.
A little tune up. Just make sure you got the fundamentals down pat. You got to bounce off that mound right away. Take a nice angle of the bag, and once you get there, make sure you have the foot on.
I was talking to Willie Randolph about today's activity, and it was a flurry of activity at 3:30 today. He calls it around the horn PFP, pitchers fielding practice, but it's also a drill that includes all the infielders as well, and they spent a good half hour out there today.
There's something different going on before the pitchers take BP. There's always one day it's going to be catchers throwing to second base. The other day Eddie Cedar was out there with his outfielders. They were throwing to the bases. So although they don't see the conventional infield practice after both teams take batting practice, they're working on it. There's John Axford covering first base.
And especially with the younger guys who haven't really had a chance to do it with this group. Guys like Axford and Braddock. Guys who were promoted from AAA, Cameron Lowe as well. So 4 hours before the game today, the pitchers, the infielders, they were all out there. And it pays off here tonight. Good block back there by Lucroy. Jason Michaels pinch hitting for Bud Norris. The Astros starter is out after 5 innings. Michaels with some pop in his bat. He hit a home run last year that hurt the Brewers. Has 4 home runs this year and just 82 at bats. He represents the tying run. Big cut and a miss. Villanueva strikes out Jason Michaels. A huge strikeout for Carlos Villanueva.
Yeah, 49 strikeouts for Carlos Villanueva in just shy of 38 innings of work. He's been outstanding. A big strikeout right there with runners at second and third. You know, it's unusual to have back-to-back pinch hitters, you know, in a game only in the 6th inning. It kind of shortens your bench. Only 3 players left for Brad Mills. Lance Berkman, you know, Bourgeois, and the other catcher, Quintero. So burning 2 of them without a base hit.
Well, a key out for Villanueva as he gets Michaels. Carlos in a big spot here in the 6th inning. The first 2 reached a single and a walk. They both advanced on that out at first. And they sit at second and third with the top of the order coming up and Michael Bourne.
They got first base open, but remember, Villanueva very effective against lefties.
Bourne has 2 hits tonight, including a home run. Villanueva drops one in for a strike. Oh, and 2 the count on Bourne.
Change up by Carlos. Breaking ball, change up. And he's ahead 0-2. Well, now if you're Jonathan Lucroy, you got to be able to block the baseball, because you know Villanueva wants to keep it down in the zone.
Villanueva struck out Michaels with a curveball. See what he does with a lefty. 0-2. Runners at second and third with 2 outs. And a curveball missed. Good pitch right where he wanted to put it. Bourne lays off. See the Astros hitless tonight with runners in scoring position. All 3 of the Brewers hits came with 2 outs. Another 2-strike pitch. Another good play back there by Lucroy. The count evens at 2-2.
Back-to-back off-speed pitches for Villanueva. That's exactly where you want him. You want him down. You don't want to leave anything up in the zone, particularly off-speed for Michael Bourne. Man, good job by Lucroy. Watch the way the glove stays down. Hits him in the chest and keeps it close.
Well, it does more than just save a run. It gives the pitcher so much confidence to be able to snap one off. Lucroy's done a nice job back there. Parra watching anxiously. The 2-2 just missed. Not by much. And the count goes full. 3-2 on Michael Bourne.
Yeah, pretty good chance this is going to be a changeup by Carlos in this situation. That's his bread and butter against lefties.
Full count. See what he does here. Into left field. Braun will play it on a hop. 1 run is in. They'll stop Castro as Michael Bourne drives in a run. So Bourne delivers the hit, an RBI. And it's 5-3 Milwaukee.
Yep, it was a changeup, but it was upstairs, up out over the plate, and Bourne with a nice piece of hitting, just slicing it into left field. And good battle by Michael Bourne, who was down in the count 0-2, able to work it to a full count, and Villanueva left the changeup up in the strike zone. Good piece of hitting by Bourne, good at bat.
A run is in for Houston. They scored 2 in the 3rd. Now it's 5-3, and the tying run is on base. Bourne with 3 hits tonight, 2 RBIs, and a threat to run always at first. He takes off, and Lucroy will not make a throw. Bourne steals the base, his 23rd of the year. That leads the National League.
Certain base runners, you just know they're going to get their stolen bases. Michael Bourne, one of them. Yeah, don't mess around. Even making a throw, you want to keep the man at third base, and you hope your pitcher can get the next out. But now the tying run is out there at second base.
Todd Coffey getting loose. Keppinger takes a ball. Keppinger's a tough out. Two in scoring position for the Astros second baseman. Villanueva tried a fastball and he missed. And now a hitter's count to Jeff Keppinger, 2-1. Big numbers in 11 at bats. He has 4 hits against Villanueva. Three and 1. Well, Hunter Pence is on deck. This is probably Villanueva's final hitter.
You don't want to see that guy up there with the bases loaded.
A base hit could tie it. 3 balls and a strike on Keppinger. And he lost him, so Villanueva walks Jeff Keppinger. Got the first 2 out, but now a hit and a walk. And here comes the dangerous Hunter Pence. Their best home run threat is coming up with the bases loaded.
And you got to wonder if Ken Mock is thinking to go at the power sinker with Hunter Pence up there, because Pence is a pretty good high ball hitter. Remember what he did to that Manny Parra changeup. That off-speed pitch, up and away, he ripped it to right field off the glove of Corey Hart.
And here comes Maka. So the change will be made, and he's going to give the ball to Todd Coffey in a big spot. This could be the turning point of this game right here in the 6th. We'll take a break. We'll come back and set up Coffey. The bases are low. Big opportunity here in the 6th inning as he sprints his way into the ballpark. 5-3, the Brewers lead the Astros, but Houston has the bases loaded. There are 2 outs in the inning, and Ken Maka is going to take a shot at it right here and now. He wants power against power, as Coffey will face Hunter Pence.
It's only been one appearance for Coffey since coming off the disabled list. That was June 12th against Texas, so it's been a while for Coffey. One inning, a couple of hits, and he gave up a run. 29th appearance for Todd, and a big spot right here. Bases loaded, 2 outs.
Tying run out at second. Go ahead run at first. The Astros have loaded the bases here. 2 walks and 2 hits in the inning. A run is in. And a dangerous hitter at the plate. Pence doubled his last time up. He's 1 for 3. And he lines one to left. That is down for a hit. 1 run is in. Here comes Michael Bourne, and he'll score. And just like that, the Astros have tied it. The first pitch from Coffey, and Hunter Pence squares it at 5 here in the 6th inning.
That's why you say you don't want to have that guy come to the plate. He's very unpredictable. Sometimes he will take pitches. Other times, like in situations with men on base, he will attack early, and Coffey gave him a good one to hit. Check it out. He tried to sink it, but it stayed up in the zone. And Hunter Pence wasting no time in tying this one up. A line drive bullet in the left.
Now the Brewers let a lead get away. Those runs will belong to Parra. There's a bouncer by Lee. Plenty of time here, and Carlos Lee is out. The inning is over, but the Astros do damage. We are all tied at 5. With the Astros, the Brewers off to a good start. A lot of 2-out hits. Hart drove in a pair with 2 outs in the 2nd inning. Ryan Braun went deep in the 3rd, and the Brewers had a 5-2 lead after 3. But while Manny Parra was striking out a bunch of Astros, he ran into some trouble in the 6th. He was knocked out of the game. Villanueva then gave up a hit and a walk, and then Todd Coffey allowing a 2 RBI single by Hunter Pence to tie this one at 5. Both starting pitchers go 5. Parra gives up 4 runs. And Bud Norris 5 runs, 4 earned. And now it's Gustavo Chacin on to pitch for Houston now as we move to the bottom of the 6th inning.
Bud Norris was able to right himself pretty well. Did not allow a run after that Ryan Braun home run in the 3rd. That led off the 3rd inning, and so Bud Norris able to keep his team in the ball game, allowing the Houston Astros to tie it up.
Jim Edmonds will lead off. He was at the plate when McGee was thrown out trying to steal last inning. Edmonds singled in the 2nd. Chacin with that little hesitation move from his wind-up position.
Yeah, spent some time with the Toronto Blue Jays, parts of seasons from 04 to 08.
And Edmonds skies one in the infield. Jeb Blum. 1 out. Well, Steven Strasburg pitched tonight for the Nationals. He's turning the rotation once again after suffering a loss his last time out. And the Braves ended up getting the best pitching. They shut out Washington 5-0 on a 5-hitter. Tim Hudson combined with Venters for the save, or rather for the shutout. Steven Strasburg went 6 1/3. He gave up 4 runs, 3 earned. He struck out 7, so Strasburg now 2-2. Strasburg pitching on the road in Atlanta tonight. Tim Hudson's now 8-3.
Yeah, he's having a nice year.
Lucroy into right field. Hunter Pence eases back. He's got it for the out. So 2 outs here in the 6th inning. Our Ho-Chunk Gaming Wisconsin text question: how does a relief pitcher prepare for a game not knowing if they're going to pitch or not? Alex and McFarland wants to know.
Well, they all have a routine. They'll do some running, doing batting practice, and some light throwing. Every pitcher, in a normal 9-inning game will have certain times when they're ready to go, and that's all based on everybody at the back end of the bullpen getting the job done. This saying Axford doing a nice job, Braddock, Trevor Hoffman starting to throw well again, Cameron Lowe. So guys pretty much know when their turn is, that when they potentially could pitch. And they base their workouts and their warm-ups. And there's a pitcher always thinking that he might get in the ball game, from the first inning on.
And you'll see Stan Kiles, the bullpen coach, once a pitcher gets loose, like Cameron Lowe is here, he has already seen who is coming up next for the Astros. So before the reliever begins to get loose, if he knows he's coming in, they'll go through a quick scouting report. Counsell, a little fly ball into shallow left center. Bourne's got it, and a 3-up, 3-down inning, the first of the night for Astros pitchers. By the new Miller Lite Vortex bottle. Taste greatness. And by Toyota. Thank you for standing by us. For more information, visit buyatoyota.com. Well, we hope you'll join us tomorrow. Our Miller Lite What's on Tap, the Brewers and the Astros for Game 2 of this series on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Airtime is 6:30. The final game of the series not televised. You can catch that one on the Brewers radio network. And then Thursday, the Brewers go to St. Louis starts a 4-game series with the Cardinals. And we're on the air in St. Louis at 6:30 on Thursday night. That's our Miller Lite What's on Tap. Coffee back on the mound. Got the final out of the 6th inning after Hunter Pence singled in 2 runs to tie it. So a brand new ball game here at Miller Park as we move to the 7th. Chris Johnson, the rookie third baseman, at the plate. Tonight, St. Louis is hosting Arizona. And Arizona has a lead over the Cardinals. A hot shot off the glove of McGee. And Johnson is aboard. That'll be an error on Casey McGee.
Now this one hit like a bullet, but 2 hops went right through the wickets. Actually hit him in the foot. Got a piece of the glove. Glove came up, ball stayed down, and that'll be an E5. And the Astros have another leadoff base runner.
Second error of the game for the Brewers. For McGee, that's his 8th. And here comes Rick Peterson to the mound.
Yeah, I think I inadvertently said that Todd Coffey hadn't pitched since June 12th. It was actually Saturday against Seattle. Gave up a hit in 2/3 of an inning. Today is his 3rd appearance since coming off the disabled list.
Trying to get the feel back, and for a power sinker pitcher, you can imagine having missed 3 weeks, even though he did go to AAA. And Todd even said, he was honest, he said, you can't simulate the adrenaline that you get in a big league game in AAA. And that's why he wanted to return, and he's in a big spot here. A thumb injury for Coffey on his right thumb. And he did it while at the plate. Got jammed by a pitch. Seemed pretty benign at the time, but it looked like Coffey was going to be able to bounce right back in a couple of days, but he ended up needing 3 weeks.
You have that nerve that runs from the palm of your hand up through your thumb. A lot of times when you get jammed, position players go through that. Prince had a problem with that for a while. And nothing that kept him out of the lineup, but pitcher not used to that. A little bit of swelling, some soreness. Not able to grip the baseball properly.
Pedro Feliz sends one to left. Braun on the run. That ball is well hit. It's off the wall. Chris Johnson is around third. He's going to try to score. The throw from Counsell is late. That's an RBI double for Pedro Feliz. And the Astros have a lead here in the 7th inning.
All right, Brewers with a 4-0 lead through 2 innings, and all of a sudden the bats have come alive for the Astros, a team that has struggled mightily to score runs. That fastball straight as a string, a little bit up, got a lot of the plate, and Feliz with his 3rd base hit of the night drives in the go-ahead run.
And we're going to have another pitching change here. So the bullpen has not been effective tonight. Maka trying to get an inning out of Coffey in the 7th. An error and a double. And it's 6-5 Houston, and Maka is going to make a double switch. We'll set it up when we continue as Braddock comes in.
Francisco Giants, Monday through Thursday, July 5th through the 8th. Tickets are going fast, so call 414-902-4000 or go to Brewers.com today. Who won today? Who won the Clements Racing Sausage Race?
Italian. It was a close one, though. Photo finish.
Well, Zach Braddock on for the 14th time. He pitched on Saturday. I'm sure of that. He pitched on Saturday, struck out Ichiro Suzuki, the only batter that he faced that night.
Astros lead it 6-5. They've come back from 4 runs down early. Castro up there to bunt, and he takes a ball. Jason Castro reached on a walk and scored in that 6th inning. Astros scored 3 in the 6th. They've added 1 here in the 7th. The largest deficit the Astros have come back from this year until tonight, 3 runs. It's been a ball club that has had a tough time scoring runs, but not so here today as Braddock deals a strike. Six runs on 10 hits. Runner at second, nobody out. Feliz drove in a run with a double after an error to start the inning by McGee. Now the Diamondbacks have a 5-3 lead over the Cardinals. Dan Herron is pitching well for Arizona. That game is moving to the 9th inning now. Cincinnati tops the division to start play today. They beat Philadelphia 7-3. So the Reds have won behind Johnny Cueto, who is 8-2.
Yeah, Reds are for real. I mean, they're hanging in there, and their pitching is one of the big reasons. Starting pitching's been pretty good.
Brewers made up ground yesterday on the Reds and the Cardinals. They need a comeback tonight to keep pace with Cincinnati. There's a strike, and down goes Castro for the 3rd time looking.
Not very aggressive at the plate. He started that at bat by squaring around the bunt. Yeah, they took it off, and 3rd time that Castro has watched strike 3 go by. That one right down the middle. Not sure where he thought it was. Looked like he was either upset with himself or upset with the call, but had plenty of the plate.
Well, it'll be Jeff Blum again, his 2nd plate appearance. He came in and pinch hit in the 6th inning and grounded out. He doesn't hit much as a right-handed batter. Matter of fact, he's just 1 for 16 from the right side of the plate. Does most of his damage as a lefty. Has 30 hits as a left-handed hitter, just 1 as a right-handed batter. Boy, tied him up. Good fastball from Braddock.
Yep, 92 miles an hour. He threw a couple of fastballs to Castro at 94. Now going up the ladder on Jeff Blum, up around the letters.
Runner at second. Astros lead at 6-5 after Feliz's double. Bouncing ball to Prince. He'll take it to the bag for the 2nd out. Well, Braddock took the bat right out of his hands, didn't he?
Well, he threw one on the inner half of the plate and right down on the knuckles, a jam sandwich, and easy out to Prince.
Braddock and Lucroy talk it over. 2 outs in the inning. The Astros have a run in with a runner at 3rd. Braddock showing a good fastball against Blum.
Yep, right in there. I mean, talk about jamming a guy down in the trademark. You can see how far behind that baseball he is, and easy out to Prince. Another pinch hitter for the Astros. They're blowing through their bench pretty quickly.
And it's going to be the former Brewer, Jason Bourgeois. But one dangerous bat still remaining for the Astros. They have 2 position players left.
Yeah, the catcher Quintero and Lance Berkman.
So here's Bourgeois. And a strike from Braddock. Bourgeois is from Houston. He and Michael Bourne were Little League teammates. Can you imagine that? Little League teammates, now teammates in the big leagues. Bouncing ball, it's over the head of McGee, and another run is in. And Bourgeois, a pinch hit single. 7-5 Houston as Jason Bourgeois delivers with an RBI.
Well, one of the pinch hitters finally coming through with a base hit. He beats it into the ground, but a big hop over the head of Casey McGee and into left field. And Feliz comes around to score.
2 runs are in. Both of those runs belong to Coffey. Top of the order now, Bourne. Inning started with an error. 2 hits and an error now. RBIs from Feliz and Bourgeois. That's in the air to left. And Bourne flies out. That's that. But Houston scores twice. It's 7-5 Astros.
Miller Park getting ready for Brewers Live postgame presented by Lincoln Mercury. Odd situation. The Brewers have been outscored 7-1 after going ahead 4-0. They've usually done the hunting and the comebacks. Now they got to come back on their own.
Kind of an unusual situation. They've been playing so well. They now have to turn it over to that bullpen. Hopefully they can hold them right where it is. And the offense has to come alive. They haven't been alive since the 3rd inning. Good time for them to do it right now.
Yeah, still a lot of time left to go in this one. Of course, we'll have full post-game coverage from the clubhouse with Mark Concannon, and also on our on-field instructional tonight, some very special guests. The Little Leaguers from Elm Grove are going to spend some time on the field with Jerry and Bill, and share a very special story along the way as well, one you won't want to miss, guys.
All right, Craig, Jerry, thank you. As Wilton Lopez takes over for Houston, we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. 7-5 Astros. And it's Alcides Escobar who came into the game on the double switch last inning. He leads off this 7th. Right part of the order to get it done. The Brewers have been quiet since Braun's home run in the 3rd to start the inning. Escobar batting .246 this year with 23 driven in. Hoping to get aboard for Ricky Weeks. So Coffey comes on, gives up 2 runs, both unearned. And a 1/3 of an inning here tonight. David Risky looks like he will have the 8th inning. Well, the bullpen giving up some runs here tonight as Escobar bounces one to short. Blum. The throw is low, but dug out by Feliz, and Escobar is retired.
Hey, Lopez is one of those guys that's going to sink everything that he throws. He's got a good sinking fastball at about 92 miles an hour. And he'll throw a changeup. He gets a lot of ground ball outs when he's right. It's just a matter of getting to the closer for these Houston Astros. The closer, Matt Lindstrom's been pretty good this year.
Astros getting some offense tonight. The team with the worst batting average as a club in the National League to start the day. They have 7 runs on 11 hits. But the Brew Crew still in shouting distance here. Ricky Weeks back to the top of the order. He drove in a run in the 2nd inning. And an RBI single with 2 outs. He also stole a base and scored a run.
Yeah, Brewers haven't had an at-bat with a man in scoring position since the 2nd inning. Who would have thought that the way this game started?
Well, there were 5 runs on the board and 7 hits through 2 innings and a batter. And the Astros have faced the minimum since. There have been a couple of hits and a walk mixed around there, but a caught stealing, a double play. The minimum for Astros pitching. Ricky Weeks with a base hit. His 2nd hit at a 4-hit game yesterday, and now 2 here tonight.
And both of them to right field. They would pull their hands in and shoot that ball in the hole into right field. You know, sinking fastball that stayed up in the zone, and Ricky able to fight it off inside out and into right field. So good speed at first with 1 out.
Just a beautiful piece of hitting there by Weeks.
Look at the way the knob of the bat leaves the barrel. And able to fight it off. Got it down on the handle just a bit, but able to get enough of it to muscle it into right field.
Now the National League leader in home runs steps up, representing the tying run. And Hart, a big cut, fouls it away. Tim Burdack most likely to face Fielder next. Hart has 2 hits. He drove in 2 runs in the 2nd. And now it's 60 runs batted in. He is 1 behind David Wright of the Mets for the National League lead in RBIs. Two balls and a strike on Hart. If you're wondering, David Wright did not drive in a run tonight, although he had 2 hits in that loss against the Marlins. Florida won at 10-3. The big boys are coming up. The Brewers have 1 out and a runner at first. Oh, Hart had a mighty cut. 2-2 the count.
And it's been one fastball after the other for Wilton Lopez, and trying to get that good sink on it. Left that one up for Corey. Had a good pitch to hit.
Hard back up the middle, ranging over his glove. He cannot get it. Weeks will not challenge Bourne. Ricky thought about it for a moment. Remember, the Astros used Blum as a pinch hitter, and then he stayed in to play short. They give up a little range there, and it might have cost him here in the 7th. Now 2 on for Fielder.
I think even if he knocks it down, I don't think he's going to have a play on Weeks, and certainly not a play on Corey Hart. Just not able to get there, and because of the good throwing arm from Michael Bourne, Ricky Weeks decides to stay put, particularly with Prince and Ryan coming up.
So 2 on with 2 out. Weeks and Hart with base hits.
Well, do you use your last left-hander in the bullpen for Prince Fielder here? You got Prince followed by Ryan Braun and Casey McGee. There's 2 right-handers. And that's it.
Yep, Mills is going to make the call right here and now. So a big spot. Fielder will face a lefty, Tim Burdack. We take a break, come back. The Brewers threatening in the 7th. Seventh inning, the Brewers are down 7-5. Fielder is coming up with 2 on, and it's going to be Tim Burdack to face him.
Well, you can see Burdack, the second left-hander used by Brad Mills in the Houston Astros. It was first left-hander last inning. And Burdack, 27th appearance, a .530 earned run average. And Prince Fielder has had some success against Burdack in his career.
Fielder with 2 hits against Burdack and 7 at-bats. One of those 2 hits a home run, and he's driven in 5 runs against Burdack. So here we go, the Brewers with another shot. Astros have scored 5 unanswered runs to take the lead here, 7-5, and now Milwaukee with a chance to get them back. 2 on, 1 out. And Prince takes a strike.
Yeah, it's basically fastball slider for Burdack. Not trying to trick anybody. He's going to try and get Prince to chase that slider out of the zone.
Fielder is 0 for 3. And a little slow roller out to first. Feliz will take it to the bag. And it's out number 2. So Burdack retires Prince. Big out for the Astros. 2 gone now. And here comes Ryan Braun, and we'll see what Brad Mills does with his pitching situation here.
Well, he's got a right-hander loosening in that bullpen. He's ready out there. And here comes Brad Mills.
So he's playing it with the matchups. And you can't blame him. Burdack faces 1 batter, retires Prince, and we'll take another timeout. New pitcher coming in. He's ready to do some sliding. 2 outs in the inning. The Brewers are down a pair, and a new pitcher as Brad Mills has gone with a matchup in consecutive at-bats. Burdack, retired fielder. And now it's Brandon Lyon on to face Ryan Braun here with 2 away and 2 men aboard.
Yeah, former closer Brandon Lyon in his 35th game this year. Check out the record, 5-1 out of the bullpen. Not too bad. And a 3.09 earned run average.
Second and third for Milwaukee here, and good speed on the bags. A base hit should tie it. Lyon was a closer for the Diamondbacks in 08, 26 saves that year. Pitched for the Tigers last year, and now in his first season as an Astro. 2 on, 2 out for Ryan Braun. Got a base open at first, and Casey McGee on deck. We'll see how aggressive Lyon will be against Braun. Weeks and Hart with back-to-back singles with 1 away. Oh, a hanger in there for a strike. 1-1.
Yeah, fastball to start him out, then the curveball for the strike. Lyon's got a pretty good breaking pitch, and his fastball has some sink on it.
Already his 5th organization. Came up with the Blue Jays. Saw some time with the Red Sox, the Diamondbacks, Tigers, and now the Astros. One and two. The Cardinals have come back to beat the Diamondbacks. So the Reds and the Cardinals winning tonight. This is an important game for the Brewers to try to keep pace. Open the day 7.5 back of Cincinnati. 1-2 to Braun. Two and two.
Everything to Ryan in this at bat has been away, and that is his power area. Likes to get his arms extended.
Braun with 2 hits tonight. He's driven in a pair. He homered in the 3rd inning. Drove in a run with a single with 2 outs in the 1st. And Braun strikes out. Castro secures the strikeout at first. The Brewers have Fielder and Braun at the plate with 2 on, and they come up empty.
For the Brewers game at Miller Park, where it is going to be another cool day, partly cloudy skies. Watch for first pitch temperatures generally in the 60s with east-northeasterly winds 7 to 14 miles per hour.
Well, we're back here at Miller Park as we head to the 8th inning. And the Houston Astros have been able to find some offense. They currently have a 7-5 lead as David Riskey takes over his 7th appearance. He's been tremendous. He has not allowed a run, 5 strikeouts in just shy of 6 innings of work. He's only walked 1, and an opponent batting average at 111.
7-5 Houston. To the 8th we go. And Riskey will face Jeff Keppinger to lead off. Keppinger, Pence, and Lee, 2, 3, and 4 in this Astros batting order. Well, a frustrating 7th for the Brew Crew. They have 2 on with 1 out. Fielder and Braun coming up, and Burdack and Lyon get out of it. Brad Mills pushing the right buttons here tonight. Each club with 11 hits. Keppinger is 1 for 3. He walked his last time up. There's a strike. Riskey has been terrific since coming back to the big leagues. Tommy John surgery last year, that ligament replacement surgery on his right elbow. Throwing a lot of strikes, and it's his ability to get ahead in the count that has made him so good, putting that hitter in a defensive spot with that terrific forkball.
And his ability to throw that fork ball anytime. I mean, even for called strikes, he's one of the rare pitchers that can throw that fork ball for a called strike. So I guess that's what we're calling that now, fork ball.
He calls it a splitter, but I don't know. To me, it's a fork ball because he doesn't use it.
You're going to rename it
as a power pitch, right? He uses it as a change of pace.
Yeah, he throws 2 different ones. I mean, he did even when he came over from Kansas City. He throws a softer one, and then he'll throw one for a strikeout pitch. So he'll throw the forkball and the splitter. How's that? Can we go that route?
Holds it the same way.
Can we go that route?
He showed me his grip. He has 2 grips on his split finger pitch. One with the thumb directly below, one with the thumb off to the side. As he misses with a fastball, and as we talk about his great command, he walks Jeff Keppinger.
The one that he holds the thumb off to the side is the softer one.
That's the one with the
sinking
ball movement.
The fork ball.
I told David we'll be the ones who decide what he calls what, right?
You throw him, we'll name him.
The old fadeaway. The drop ball.
The downshoot.
The gyro pitch. It's an Astros-Brewers game. It feels like a Red Sox-Yankees game. A lot of long at-bats, deep counts. 22 hits combined. Well, that didn't miss by much. 2-0 is the count on Pence. Yep, the Brewers had a 4-0 lead. Astros come roaring back. 5 unanswered. They lead 7-5. Pence had the big hit. Hunter Pence drove in 2 runs with 2 outs to tie the game in the 6th inning. Pitcher of record on the win side is Wilton Lopez. Todd Coffey on the hook for the loss at this point.
I don't see many hitters choke up as much as Hunter Pence does up there at the plate. Got a good sized bat up there, chokes up a little bit, able to handle it better, but still has the wood of a very large bat, large piece of wood.
Well, tomorrow, the Brewers and the Astros, and it's Gallardo on the mound for Milwaukee. He's had some of his best games against Houston. Giovanni matches up against Brett Myers. That's a good pitching matchup. Myers is pitching well for the Astros. A 3.20 earned run average this year. Yeah, Gallardo and Hunter Pence were in the same tryout together with the Texas Rangers. They had him out prior to the draft. Can you imagine the Rangers passing on both of them? Pence played his college ball in Arlington, UT Arlington. And Gallardo, a high school pitcher at the time for Trimble Tech in Fort Worth. Rangers were able to recover, though.
Rangers have always had big offense. It's been the pitching that's been the issue for them, but they're better at that this year. So, and the Brewers very fortunate that the Rangers passed on Giovanni,
who was a second-round draft pick in 06. Two and two to count, and Pence back up the middle, base hit. Well, Pence is having a big night tonight. His third hit on base for the fourth time.
A tough guy to strike out. Hunter Pence has been right on the baseball today. Risky leaving a pitch over the plate and up a little bit. Right down the middle, up around the letters, but Pence able to get on top of it and bang it right back through the middle. Out of the reach of Ricky Weeks and into center field. The last two innings, 3 now, been very difficult for this Brewer pitching staff. Finding outs has been tough.
Astros have done a ton of damage against the bullpen here tonight. 3 runs in the 6th, 2 in the 7th. They have the first 2 on with Carlos Lee up there here in the 8th. And that one is ripped, and that's a base hit down the line. This might score a couple. Keppinger scores. Here comes Pence right behind him, and it's a 2 RBI double by Carlos Lee. And the Astros have a 9-5 lead here in the 8th inning.
Hunter Pence able to score from first base before Carlos Lee reached second base. I mean, Lee literally walked from first to second. He hammers this ball down the left field line and drives in a pair. Good speed on the bases for the Astros. Keppinger scored. Pence all the way around from first base. He scores. And Carlos Lee literally walks into second base with a double.
2 RBI double. Lee has 2 hits. 41 RBIs for him this year. And the beat goes on here for the Astros. Well, you didn't expect this kind of offense from this club tonight.
First runs allowed by David Risky this year.
Brewers led 4-0, and then they led 5-2. Houston leads it 9-5. Still nobody out. Into shallow left center. Edmonds will run it down. And that's the first out of the inning as Johnson is retired. Beg your pardon, Gallardo and Pence out of that 04 draft, not 06. Make a correction there. Giovanni tomorrow, a 7-game winner. Pitching like an all-star. Gallardo is now inside the top 5 in earned run average in the National League. 2.36 ERA is 5th. Ubaldo Jimenez leads the league in earned run average. Then Josh Johnson, Jaime Garcia, Roy Halladay, and then Yo.
Yeah, Jimenez earned run average ballooning to 1.6.
After his worst start of the year, his last time out.
It doesn't take much when they're that low.
Still has 13 wins, Jimenez. There's the ERA leaderboard. Gallardo 5th in the league in earned run average, 2nd in the league in strikeouts. Lincecum passed him with his last start, albeit a short one for Tim Lincecum.
Yeah, we talked about that St. Louis series over the weekend. 3 of the top 10 in the National League earned run average leaders in that Cardinals rotation.
Yeah, and the Brewers are going to get all 3. They're going to get Wainwright, Garcia, and Carpenter. The only starter they won't get is Jeff Suppan. There's a pop-up. Fielder wants it. 2 outs. St. Louis had a thriller tonight. They came back and won. They scored 3 in the bottom of the 9th to win it. 6-5, spoiling Dan Herron's bid. Herron went 8 strong. He also hit a home run.
Having a good year at the plate.
He's raking. He really is. So the Cardinals and the Reds win tonight. Cubs lost. Pirates beat them 2-1. Paul Mahalem beat Andrew Kashner. A 9th inning run for the Pirates at Wrigley, and they beat the Cubs 2-1.
The Cubs now 10 games under 500. Who'd have thought?
Plenty of drama in that Cubs clubhouse. Carlos Zambrano suspended, and Lou Piniella saying when he comes back he is going to be pitching out of the bullpen, but who knows where that's headed.
Yeah.
Cubs putting Zambrano on the restricted list today. Saw a dugout argument last night too between Evan Longoria and B.J. Upton of the Tampa Bay Rays.
Yeah.
Neither one put on the restricted list afterwards.
First offense, no big deal.
Oh, there's a history, you mean?
It's only after 9 or 10 issues that you go on the restricted list. And probably won't be the last.
Full count, 2 outs. Jason Castro at the plate. Into center field. Edmonds is right there. The inning ends, but the Astros add to it. 2 RBI double by Carlos Lee. It is now 9-5. for Milwaukee. Matter of fact, they had a 4-0 lead after 2 innings. Then Ryan Braun made it 5-2 with a home run to start the 3rd, but then the Astros started their march. Pence drove in a pair to tie it in the 6th. Astros got 2 more in the 7th. And then Carlos Lee, blistering one down the line, drove in a pair. And it's 9-5 Houston. We move to the bottom of the 8th. Here's Casey McGee, Brandon Lyons still on the mound. The guy's all dressed up, got his uni on. Things not going well for him. 13 hits for the Astros. Well, Lyon came on to retire Braun with 2 on and 2 out. Brewers have the tying run in scoring position.
Got that nasty curveball to get Ryan Braun. He threw a couple of pretty good ones. One for a called strike and then one that he bounced for the strike 3.
And a strike from Lyon. 2-2 on Casey McGee. Other games in the National League. The Braves shut out the Nationals. They beat Steven Strasburg tonight. Tim Hudson now 8-3. And his earned run average is at .237. At the plate, presented by Wendy's. Casey McGee aboard twice, 2 hits. Marlins cooled off the Mets tonight in Miami. Actually, that game's in Puerto Rico. As McGee strikes out. How about that for a home game for the Fish?
Yeah.
Head down to San Juan. It's been reported that Bobby Valentine is going to pass on the managerial position with the Marlins, at least for now. He was the front runner to replace Freddie Gonzalez, who was fired last week.
Now, the Brewers played a series a number of years ago in Puerto Rico. At that time, it was the Montreal Expos. Brewers went down there, played a 3-game series.
You wonder if Major League Baseball will expand into Latin America. At the time, the Expos were considering a move to Puerto Rico.
Right. Series was well attended. Sounded a lot like those World Cup soccer games, though, down there. A lot of horns going off throughout the day.
Had the vuvuzelas working?
I don't know if that's what it was, but
sound like the bees. I can handle the horns. It's the
cars honking all day.
The soccer version
going on.
I got to tell you, those vuvuzelas, they got to go. It's tough to listen to. You still following the World Cup, are you, partner?
A little bit.
Who do you like the rest of the way?
Brazil.
Okay, call. They're still in it.
Argentina.
Good one.
2 good teams.
2 teams that are still in it.
Now, I wouldn't tell you I've been following a little bit if I wasn't.
Yes, you would. Yes, you would.
They say Argentina's the dark horse to win it all.
That's what they say. How about Ghana?
Don't know them. Well, 3 hitters for Brendan Lyon, and all 3 have been strikeouts. There's that fastball. He takes a little off of it. 87 miles an hour with some sink. Spain's supposed to be good as well.
That might be your sleeper right there. You like your football, do you?
As far as the horns, you don't have to deal with them until the next World Cup. When's that? 4 years?
4 years.
How many?
It's like the Olympics.
Every 4 years.
Still have one more word in our Airtran contest, partner.
And I wrote down the first two.
Yep.
Because those first two words are tough to remember.
0-2 to Lucroy. And a strikeout. Lyon strikes out the side of the 8th. We head to the 9th. 9-5 Astros. Miller Park emptying out as we head to the 9th inning. A marathon night here at the ballpark, and we're not done yet. 9th inning, and it's Chris Capuano on the pitch. His outings have been few and far between, partner.
Yeah, came off the disabled list right around the 1st of June. He made 2 appearances so far this year. June 3rd against the Marlins. That was his start. He went 3 2/3. And it was Capuano who pitched on the 12th against Texas. And he pitched an inning.
Now that's been it. Here we are on the 28th of June, and he is finally back on the mound. He'll have the 9th, and he'll have Jeff Blum to start it. Blum is 0 for 2. Couple of ground outs over to Fielder. Pretty light schedule in the American League tonight, and they are all final. Indians beat the Blue Jays 2-1. Kerry Wood knocks another save. The 7th, but back-to-back nights. Royals beat the White Sox, so Kansas City, after riding high and winning 10 in a row, they lose 3-1. And the Twins drop 1 to the Tigers. Detroit 7-5.
Knocks the Twins out of first place, so Detroit now a half a game up in the Central.
Detroit had a big loss, though. Joel Zumaya looked like he tore a ligament in his arm on a pitch. His Blum, little soft liner for an out, the first out of the 9th inning. You'll see that one tonight for sure on the highlight reels. The Zumaya let a pitch go and just went down in a heap. You hate to see that. Tough break for the Tigers. But they do win it tonight by a 7-5 final score over Minnesota. And all of a sudden the Twins are scuffling a little bit. Wandy Rodriguez is pinch hitting for the Astros. He's a pitcher. Got the double flat helmet working. Rodriguez will pitch the finale of this series. Guy's got 7 hits this year.
In 269. Nothing wrong with that. Send them up there. They're running out of players on the bench.
1-2. Capuano deals a fastball inside. But Capuano has a little more life on his fastball than the last time we saw him, and that's a good sign. Out to Weeks. Nice backhanded pickup. And 2 outs for Capuano. Well, we talked to Chris when he first came back to the big leagues. He's coming back from 2 Tommy John surgeries and a long road back this second time around. But he was, sitting around 84, 86 miles an hour. He felt like he had a little more giddy up in there. And we're seeing it tonight.
That's time off. I mean, you're always going to have a little bit more in the arm, but, the command is what the issue ordinarily is when you haven't pitched. They just can't find himself in that rotation in that Brewers bullpen.
I think ideally the Brewers would like Capuano in a starting role. And at this point, with the starters pitching well and so much depth in the rotation, the spot would be AAA to continue to stretch out and continue to progress. But Capuano had it out in his contract that he had to be brought to the big leagues or be a free agent. He would be available, and the way he's pitching, you'd think someone would pick him up. Oh, look at this play by Escobar, and the throw is late. Some kind of play by Escobar to even have a chance against Michael Bourne.
Yeah, anybody but Michael Bourne, I think Escobar is going to be able to get the out, but knowing he was the hitter, he rushed his throw a little bit off the mark. That was a heck of a play by Alcides, able to smother it, get up, and get a throw up very quickly. So Michael Bourne with his 4th hit. He's had a big night.
4 for 6 at the plate with 2 RBIs. First 4-hit game this season for Bourne. It's amazing how fast he is on a shot like that to be able to beat one down the line. Keppinger takes a strike.
And Michael Bourne last year had 43 infield hits. How about that? And that one there was his 16th already this year.
Bourne has scored 2 runs. He hit a home run, his first of the year, back in the 3rd inning. As Keppinger sends one to center field, Edmonds a long way to go, but he's got it. The inning is over, and a scoreless outing for Capuano. As we head to the bottom of the ninth, and at this point, our Menards player of the game is Hunter Pence. 3 for 5. He drove in 2 runs to tie it in the 6th inning. And he scored twice. So Pence, a big night. Michael Bourne with 4 hits tonight. Astros have a new pitcher. Jeff Fulcino is on to work the 9th, and it's going to be Joe Inglet to pinch hit.
You can't say enough about what this Astros bullpen has been able to do tonight. Been able to keep the Brewers off the board. And 29th appearance for Fulcino. He's got a pretty good slider. 7.07 earned run average.
Inglet tripled in a pinch hit appearance yesterday. Lance Bergman takes over at first. That bumps Feliz over to third. Brad Mills taking no chances here with a 4-run lead as Inglet lines one right to Blum. First out of the inning. Now the final word in tonight's Airtran Airways Flyaway is rocks. Now that you have all 3 words, log on to foxsportswisconsin.com. Enter in all 3 words in the entry form provided. Remember, you need to do it in the order they were revealed during the game. The final word is rocks. The first 2 correct entries will be our winners tonight. Winners will be revealed in our Brewers Live postgame show presented by Lincoln Mercury. foxsportswisconsin.com is where you go. And if you've stayed with us all night and you have all 3 words, you've earned it. One gone for Escobar. His 2nd plate appearance. Got an instructional tonight with the Little Leaguers on the field. Our Fox Sports Wisconsin kid reporter, Deuce Barnes, is down there with his teammates. Escobar down on strikes. 2 outs. There they are. Elm Grove Little League. What do you got in mind for him tonight, Rock?
We're going to talk about fielding ground balls. It's a challenge to figure out what to do with 11 kids.
But not too great of a challenge for you, my friend. The instructor.
Myself and Jerry Augustine, we're going to go down there and do the best we can. They're fired up.
Man, ready to go. Getting to stay up late tonight. Got the uniforms on. Got some angry moms at home.
Cotton candy in them.
All sugared up and ready to go.
They're ready.
Tyler Barnes down there corralling the group. Weeks with 2 hits. Had 4 yesterday. Kind of finished strong here. Tough matchup tomorrow for the Crew. Brett Myers pitches for Houston. But the Brewers will send up their ace, Giovanni Gallardo. Coming off that shutout. Off the bare hand, and that's a base hit. Look at Weeks go. His 3rd hit of the game.
They're on base 4 times, 3 hits and a walk.
Well, when he gets hot, he's almost unstoppable.
Nice short stroke, fastball right down the middle, and Ricky able to center on it and just roll it into center field. Well, the Brewers still showing some life here in the 9th.
Two outs. Here's Hart. Trying to add to those numbers. Corey is an RBI away from the league lead. A long ball here, and he would be the outright leader when we show up tomorrow. There's a closer, Matt Lindstrom.
Yeah, one more base runner becomes a save situation for Lindstrom.
Might as well make him work, huh?
Get him in there.
Him in the game. That's the next goal for the Brewers. Trying to get Ryan Braun to the plate. If he bats, the Brewers will have the tying run up. Rally caps are on. The 1-2. And Hart takes a ball. That is the pitch that has been the difference in Hart's season this year compared to last.
Yeah, waiting back a lot longer and trusting his hands and laying off that slider off the corner.
That was his nemesis a year ago. 2-2. And Hart is gone on strikes. The inning is over. The ball game is over. And the Astros a comeback win, their largest comeback of the year. And they win it 9-5. Second loss on the homestand. We kick it out to Craig Cashon for Brewers Live. Craig?
Okay, Brian, thanks very much. Brewers Live.